Isaiah chapter 58 and verse 1. Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgressions, and the house of Jacob their sins.
Un odre viejo.
Copyright disclaimer. This content does not belong to Bible Chronicles or claim this intellectual property. The content provided today has and always will belong to the content owner. Bible Chronicles does not have any affiliation with the owner of this property. As mentioned, Bible Chronicles did not intend to make use of any material for the purpose of harvesting gain. However, Title 17 of United States copyright law states material in use can only be done when it's for theological or general educational purposes, and thus Bible Chronicles believes that this principal material falls under fair use, which honors protection under Section 107 of the same U.S. copyright law.
This is the Cypher 3. Ahora Babylon Real. En esta ocasión traigo a los gangsters más gangsters de la zona. Y vengo con la familia gang. ¿Cómo dice? Llaman a Real. Traigo el mensaje puro y crudo para el momento. No palabras vanas que rompen los sentimientos. Lucharé y derribaré los muros del lamento. Pídeme pues te daré los sueños que están muertos. Nunca el demonio dio mensajes de amor, pero tampoco los dio el ángel que nos abandona. Quizás miremos diferente el reloj, pero tu cielo es el infierno donde el amor murió. Political violence, criminal physical redemption hasta cacacar el baile. Typical styling, musical fraile. Mucha es la promesa en la que se han llevado el aire. Love and love and love. Siente verdad como no en mi corazón. No more, no more, no more. It's a reggae cypher. Feed the world. What time is it? Es de reventar el beat. Throw the tangle in the street. Reggae music on the hit. Romperemos las barreras que crearon para ti, pues llegaron los señores y la paz de nuevo aquí. What time is it? Es de reventar el beat. Throw the tangle in the street. Reggae music on the hit. Romperemos las barreras que crearon para ti, pues llegaron los señores y la paz de nuevo aquí.
Fue que me brotaron alas y ganas de volar. En las buenas mi terreno lleno, en las malas solar. Un muro que decorar, mis hermanos me sirven de guía, mi estrella polar. Guarda los hilos, me duele hasta respirar. Solo quiero ver verdad. Sigo buscándome lejos de lo que piensas. Más fácil de lo que crees, el esfuerzo trae recompensas. Vale la experiencia si es intensa. No tires de la cuerda si está tensa. Miraban al ocaso con tristeza. Las estrellas devolvían con grandeza su mirar. Nos vimos floreciendo en la maleza. La belleza de las piezas y comienzan a encajar.
Es de reventar el beat. Throw the tangle in the street. Reggae music on the hit. Romperemos las barreras que crearon para ti, pues llegaron los señores y la paz de nuevo aquí. What time is it? Es de reventar el beat. Throw the tangle in the street. Reggae music on the hit. Romperemos las barreras que crearon para ti, pues llegaron los señores y la paz de nuevo aquí.
51, 52, con un micro de bambú, más vuelta que Passepartout, me siento en la old school. It's magnetic kung fu, it's a reggae magnatur, por las almas sonrientes que acompañan a Zazú. En bambalinas y balú, son rimas de menú, no salidas de Benur, pero cálida y del sur. Homie, always lonely, but I feeling like a gangsta. 52, 53, a mí sí me ves venir, por eso me llaman King, ese fue mi devenir. De marchar o seguir, nunca tuve que elegir, la music me eligió a mí, no tengo nada más que decir. Saifa, Puniga, Loba, Grimble, Fire, Killaman, Smoker, Chusta, Feel Light, Rasta, Child Metal, Kimanes, Original a Reggae, Saifa again.
Eterna guerra interna en la villa del pingüino, entre los calines en la antena y los que se encuentran dormidos zarandean tus emociones cual barril de vino, cosas feas quizás en tus ideas, pero aquí no, yo no atino, disparo sin mirar a todo aquel vampiro que el diente quiera hincarme, bro. Si lo digo, no es para pensar, sino para aclarar lo que de siempre estás pensando. Acaba el tan magnífico, imposible de torcer metal, so start my friend, yo. Reggae warriors again, making connection after connection, my new world, reaching the freedom from them, me more. Nanny boy, represent this game.
What time is it? Es de reventar el beat. Through the jungle in the street. Reggae music on the hit. Romperemos las barreras que crearon para ti, pues llegaron los señores y la paz de nuevo aquí. What time is it?
Es de reventar el beat.
Through the jungle in the street. Reggae music on the hit. Romperemos las barreras que crearon para ti, pues llegaron los señores y la paz
No
de
hace
nuevo
falta
aquí.
presentación si existe nivel. Sobreviviendo en Babilonia escribí al papel mis problemas cuando al final pude entender que para ser feliz solo tienes que querer, que solamente hay una vida y es para vivir. Busca siempre una alternativa para seguir. No dejes nunca que te digan que no es así, y prende un poco de sativa para estar chill. Ey, superando ansiedades con el humo de cancha, manchas de un pasado trágico en la cancha. Seguimos siendo fuertes, su mierda no me engancha, mientras otros esperando a que lleguen en lancha. No matter where you come, no matter where you come from, solo importa que prestes atención a este sound. Desde the original, Killaman al mando. Oh na na na.
Mira, soy un warrior, sonido legendario. Disfruto cada segundo cuando me subo al escenario. Tengo fuego en los labios, sigo cual mercenario. Pasos de gigante y cora revolucionario. Siento que es necesario, suena el reggae en los barrios, para que cale el mensaje y para salvar a los más sabios. Entre en mi imaginario, que mocheques bancarios. Si vienes con la mala vibra, mejor bro, cambia tu itinerario. Ya, 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 ya. Cuando ruge el león suena la música real. Venimos con el ya, 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 ya. Sonido de guión es el sonido original. Ya, 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 ya. Reggae de corazón es el que se hace en unidad. Ya, 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 ya.
What time is it? Es de reventar el beat. Through the jungle in the street. Reggae music on the hit. Romperemos las barreras que crearon para ti, pues llegaron los señores y la paz de nuevo aquí. What time is it?
Es de reventar el beat.
Through the jungle in the street. Reggae music on the hit. Romperemos las barreras que crearon para ti, pues llegaron los señores y la paz de nuevo aquí.
El autor viene a decirnos con mucha firmeza y gran convencimiento lo mismo que nos decía en el siglo XVIII el barón de Holbach, ¿no? Un filósofo francés de origen alemán. Si nos remontamos al comienzo, entonces hallaremos que la ignorancia y el temor crearon a los dioses. La fantasía, el entusiasmo o el engaño los adornaron o desfiguraron. La debilidad les rinde culto, la credulidad los conserva, la costumbre los respeta y la tiranía los apoya para que la ceguera de los hombres sirva a sus propios intereses.
Here we go, family. Here we go. Let me get this in here real quick. All right, here we go, fam. So let's see. Just to let y'all know, brother was here on the link before, but I kind of go long-winded when I first start. You know, it's kind of about 10 minutes in. It's always usually like that. I hope you guys are well. I'm sure he'll come back. What up, sis? Good to have you. What up, brother? Shalom, bro. Peace, fam. What up, bro? Yeah, so I think today is gonna be good, man. He, like I said, he was here before when we first got going with the music. But you know, in the meantime, let me get everything set. Here, we'll do this. So just to let you guys know what we're gonna be talking about, I'm gonna be more of a sidekick today. I'm gonna let the brother hold the floor. I want him to talk about his understanding of the old world. I'll, obviously ask some questions. If you guys have any questions, please make sure that you post them because, we'll try to answer them. I'll make sure that he answers them, and then I'll chime in. Let's see what we got. Hold on. So, all right. So he should be back. All right. I'm sure he was just here. Let me start off with this. I had another book to share with y'all, and I've shared this with you guys before. Again, we go back and forth, historical documentation. We get into the actual scriptures, yada, yada, yada. Sometimes we won't even bring it up. Other topics come in hand. Today, we're going to hopefully talk about the old world, and then some topics about the Messiah. I think he said something else as well. But in the meantime, while he gathers himself again, I'm going to share this with you guys real quick. It's called The 10 Tribes of Israel, historically identified with the Aborigines of the Western Hemisphere. Mrs. Simmons, Barbara Simmons, all right? You see the book is printed, I would assume, 1836, if I'm not mistaken, all right? Hey, yo, shalom, brother, shalom. Saludos, man. Good to have you here. So we're gonna go to page. Let's see where you at. Give me a second, family. And here we go. Here again, I'm just trying to show you guys a page or two here before we get going. Like I said, the brother was here before. Let me see. Let me check in. Okay, let me let him know. All right. So let me get going with this. We're gonna go to page 7. Now, this book honestly is heavy duty, well referenced, and says there's a lot of meat in this book, okay? Once again, I've told you guys, family, that they're not interested in your sandalias and shit. They don't care about your corn. They don't worry about that. This is what they care about. This is what they care for. You know what I'm saying? Hold on a second. Hey, what up, bro? Good to have you here, man. Yeah. Can you hear us?
Yeah, you can hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, we can. Matter of fact, you know what? Let me stop here real quick. I want you to, if you can, bro, I'm sure people know you. There's some people that may not have heard of you in this channel. Introduce yourself, please. Let them know a little bit about, how far you go back. And maybe people should know, bro, because you've been at this for a while, dude. So, go ahead and then we can kind of get going and, if that's okay with you.
All right. Yeah.
All right.
My name is Jose. Yeah, my name is Jose Vega. A lot of people know me from Ancient Watchmen. I've been in this walk for about a little over 10 years now. Been debating for about 8 years, especially against Wabos or Black Hebrew Israelites, Christians, Old Testament believers. I'm just basically a debater. I had a couple of channels teaching lessons and having discussions and showing brothers what's what.
Yeah, it's good. And I'm glad you mentioned that you've been debating a lot, like for a long time. That's you're a natural at it. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I thought it'd be good to open the floor so you can maybe do more of what you know, and regarding the old world, because there's a lot of info. Matter of fact, the page that I was going to share with you last time, now that we're at it, might as well just kind of flow with it. I wanted to share this page with you this other day because I found it funny. I found it interesting. So, a lot of books do mention about our people, right? Like Barbara Simmons, yada, yada, yada. But this one here kind of gives me that, like, okay, it talks about a migration, right? So this is from Thorogood. I think the book is called Jews in America. Let me just show it for the crowd real quick. September 1649 printed, right? Jews in America, or the probability that the Americans are of that race, right? But when it comes to he's going through conjunctures, I guess, examples. And he said this real quick, so I put some notes down, and then maybe you can take us through that and what you think about it. It says here regarding page 3, chapter 2, the first conjecture that the Americans are Jews, right? So that's his argument. But then he mentions here real quick, and this is a cool part. It says, because that was the affirmation of them both. Pete Martyr tells at large how Moctezuma, the great king of Mexico, in an oration made to his nobles and people, persuading subjections to the kings of Spain's mind, his countrymen, that they heard from their forefathers how they were strangers in that land, and by a great prince very long ago thought thither in a fleet. They boast their pedigree from men preserved in the sea by God himself. Well, this is Moctezuma saying that God made one man and woman, bidding them live together, multiply, and how in the famine he rained bread for them and from heaven, who in a time of drought also gave them water out of a rock. So I kind of thought, like, okay, this is interesting. This is the Exodus part.
Correct.
If you read Exodus 17:6, right? Here, I'll read it real quick for the fam. 17:6. Sorry, my bad. It says, "Behold, I will stand." Hold on, this is from water from the rock. We're talking about the Exodus family. This is when the Israelites left Egypt. All right. 17:6 says, "Behold, I will stand before thee there upon the rock of Horeb, and thou shalt smite the rock, and there shall come out of it water, that the people may drink. And Moses did so in the sight of the elders of Israel." So I thought it was interesting that he referenced that they even mentioned it. Then it says, "Many other things themselves say were done for them, such as the scriptures relate concerning the Israelites at their coming out of Egypt, as their peregrination many years, the oracles they received, their ark of bulrush, wherein Vitzilapotli, Boshli, was included in the tabernacle, the ark carried by the four priests, how they pitched their tents according to the direction." So that's in Exodus 31. And so it's like, again, if we think Egypt, a lot of us that are, looking at the map for what it is, we think that Egypt over there, right? But you're saying that's here, correct? Okay, take the floor, bro. It's all you now.
Yeah, it's a interesting piece. Like I said, I've seen other sources that state the same thing that we just read here about the Exodus happening over here. But but tonight, I do got a lot of information to share. I got probably like 4 videos that we can, run through. Some of them are very short videos. I believe only one video is probably like 15 minutes long. And that video is basically a video of a Navajo elder discussing biblical matters over here. Everything else is pretty short videos, and we can get into that stuff.
Yeah, you want me to link it up, or I don't.
I'll share my screen with you. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, perfect. Let's do it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I already got it. I got mostly everything lined up video wise,
Yes, sir.
and then after that, and after the videos, I got many sources that basically align or attest to what these videos are talking about.
Perfect, bro.
I would say the first video I'm probably going to share with you, brothers, is a video of a tribe basically walking up to the Sakari camp, you know, and basically telling them how the Bible basically is a stolen book from the Americas and stuff like that, right? And you know, in this conversation, he tells Alazar, Alazar tells him what kind of language they speak, whatever, and he talks about the Algonquin language, right? He's from the Massapequa or Masha. He'll tell you. You'll hear the video. Of that language, right? And then after that video, we're going to start discussing about that language and how the first Bibles that were printed in the Americas was in that language, the Algonquin language, and things of that nature.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned that. I think you did that in a debate one time, if I'm not mistaken. And I was kind of baffled by that. Like, that's a strange. I've never heard of that. And it is strange to write it in that language first, so then these people can express it to them in English. It's like, and that is not far fetched from Edom. You know what I'm saying? Esau, all these enemies, they're willing to, yeah, sure, just help us a little bit.
Yeah, what I'm saying, because if these were the first Bibles in this, Algonquin language, you would have to say that the missionaries were trying to baptize the natives if their book is written in that language, right?
Right.
And this is also around the after that time. This is when you see like a religion named Mormonism, started to form. Where in that religion it starts teaching how Native Americans are Israelites. And you're going to find out, like I said, like all these videos and these things that we're going to be discussing tonight, watch how it all ties in. And I'm going to point out to you, brothers and sisters, how it ties in. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to talk about, even to the point where the Mormons and how that author lived in the territory of a tribe called the Micmac tribe, and how that language and how the writings of the Book of Mormon were put together in that same basically Native American language, which the Navajo grandma, which like I said was probably going to be the last video I show, is going to tie that in, because she's from the Navajo, which is like a Southwest tribe, and she talks about how she travels to north, because the Micmac tribe is like located like almost in Canada, right there by Maine, above New York. Like that's that territory, right? Gotcha. So you're going to see how she ties all. Like I said, it's going to be a beautiful correlation about what we're going to be talking about tonight.
That's good, because I'm curious about Mormonism. I always, like, what religion were they prior to Mormonism? Protestants, pretty much, right?
I forgot what he was, man. I forgot what religion he was.
All good. No, it's all good. I'm all in.
I really don't really care about Mormonism that much. Right. Yeah, but I just find it interesting how these things form.
This reminds me real quick. I don't know if you got the link right here or not, if you want to play it. But before we do, it reminds me. I remember seeing these cats that were trying to push the two sticks coming together, the Bible and the Mormon book. Like that's what they thought the two sticks meant by coming together. I don't know if you ever heard of this, but there was this guy seriously pushing the scriptures and saying that the Mormonism was the second book missing of that. I don't know. Must have been. It just came to my mind. It must have been like 5 years ago when I saw this. I thought it was pretty nuts, to be quite frank with you, bro. Wait, hold on. Who is this? Oh, my bad. Hold on. I'm still learning this. All right, family. Let me go. Go ahead.
I don't know why it's playing.
That's you got control on it, right? I don't.
Yeah, you can see the screen.
Yeah, I can see the screen. You're good.
All right, cool. All right, I'm gonna start playing this video, like I said, and pay attention to what he's telling Alazar about Israel is really in the Americas, and then he's gonna start discussing about how basically the Bible has stolen its feast days and high holy days from his tribe. Watch.
Go back
Absolutely.
to Israel.
Absolutely. But everybody thinks Israel is somewhere else. That's also another problem.
What do you say? You say
This
Israel
is
is America?
This is Israel. I'll tell you why I know that. Because 10,000 years ago, they found an ancient rock from my tribe, okay? And it was very prehistoric. It was about 10,000 years old. And the language on there is the same language as the Hebrew language, right? But also what's interesting about this rock is that the story is the story of the Jewish high holidays, but it's ours. And then they replicated the story of the Jewish high holidays off of our actual documentation on the rocks. The story's off the rock.
Okay, which me with that. But the thing is, what I
Pause. Did you pause it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So did you hear what the brother told Alazar, right?
Yeah, he was talking about the rock, and then he mentioned regarding the language, and then he said the religion, the customs of the religion are copied by the Jewish.
Did you hear the first part where he says that people think that Israel's over here, but Israel's really over here?
Oh, no, dude. Shit, I totally missed that, bro.
All right, let me play it again.
Play it again. That's crazy because I honestly missed that.
It was about 10,000.
What do you say? You say
This
Israel
is
is
Israel.
America?
This is Israel.
Why do you believe that this is Israel?
I'll tell you why I know that.
Are you saying is basically you're acknowledging that we all go back
Absolutely.
to Israel.
Absolutely. But everybody thinks Israel is somewhere else. That's also another problem.
What do you say? You say
This
Israel
is
is
Israel.
America?
This is Israel.
Why do you believe that this is Israel?
I'll tell you why also another problem.
What do you say? You say
This
Israel
is
is America?
This is Israel.
Why do you believe that this is Israel?
I'll tell you also another problem.
What do you say? You say
This
Israel
is
is
Israel.
America?
This is Israel.
Why do you believe that this is Israel?
I'll tell you why I know that.
You see that right there, brother?
Yeah, I heard him.
And then he asks him, then he proceeds to ask him, well, why do you believe that? And then he tells him, well, according to our tribe, we have this ancient rock, which your Bible basically took the high holy days and feast days from that, the customs.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And again, this is from, and the guy, he's, like I said, he speaks, an Algonquin language. And like I said, we'll discuss that. I'm gonna share my screen about, this Algonquin language that he's, this brother's, kind of discussing.
I think I might have seen this, to be honest. I cannot recall if I have or not, but I don't remember if he explains it. Does he explain it or no?
Yeah, hold on. Let me see it.
Because 10,000 years ago, very prehistoric. It was about 10,000 years. The Hebrew language, right? But also, what's interesting about this rock is that the story is the story of the Jewish high holidays, but it's ours. And then they replicated the story of the Jewish high holidays off of our actual documentation on the rocks. The story's off the rock.
Okay, which I'm familiar with that. But the thing is, what I would call let's do with our own history.
Yeah, right.
So if they date it at 10,000, I gotta say, well, does our history say 10,000?
Hold on, let me see. Hold on.
Just interesting to see that.
Yeah.
I saw it earlier. I was like, yo, that's crazy. It's got our tribe on this.
Yeah. What are other tribes like in New York?
Shinnecock. But they're all Algonquins.
But they're all a part of the
Algonquins. The language.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there it is. Okay, there it is.
It's Algonquin. What's right in the tribe? That's beautiful. I've been looking into the Algonquin in this. What is that other tribe? What are other tribes like in New York? It's Algonquin. What's right in New York though?
Algonquin is still Shinnecock. Like, yo, that's crazy.
Pseudo, Daniel, I believe in some they'll say, right?
Just interesting to see that.
Yeah.
I saw it earlier. I was like, yo, that's crazy. It's got our tribe on this.
Yeah. That's beautiful. I've been looking into the Algonquin in this. What is that other tribe? What are other tribes like in New York? It's Algonquin. What's right in New York though?
Algonquin is still
Shinnecock,
but they're all Algonquin still.
but they're all part of the
Algonquin's
Algonquin.
a language.
Yeah.
There's only one Algonquin tribe there in Canada.
Okay, but the language.
You see, he's talking about they're talking about the Algonquin language. You hear them, brother?
Yeah, I did hear.
Okay, so that's what they're basically discussing, right? About this language, about the tribe, and it's called Algonquin language, right? Okay. Let me share my screen with you again. I keep forgetting how to do this thing.
Yeah, hold on. That's my screen. As a matter of fact, let me share this real quick. I always wondered, man. I mean, we talk about when the real Holocaust occurred, right? 1492. And they did everything possible to like destroy our history, they made sure this guy named Sagahun, here, I'll read this little portion here on the bottom while you look for that. It says here, Sagahun was engaged in the compilation of his history after it had been taken away from him and again restored. Received 3 cautions. First, to write nothing to prove that the Hebrews had colonized the New World, they call it. Secondly, to be guarded in what he said of the devils having imitated God and taken himself a chosen people in the New World and counterfeiting the rites and ceremonies of the Jews. And thirdly, not to advocate the hypothesis that Christianity had ever been proclaimed to the Indians or to treat too largely on the history of Quetzalcoatl. And me personally, and I think I did tell you, it's hard for me to believe that 70 happened over there. Like, it's too freaking close, you know what I mean? Bless you, bro. It's too it doesn't make any sense, you know what I'm saying, if they try to use Deuteronomy 2:8 based on that. Go ahead, man. Just wanted to show that.
Yeah, I shared my screen.
My bad. There you go. Okay, go ahead. Hold on, let me okay, you're good. We can see it for sure.
Yeah, you can read it, brother, if you can. It's on your screen.
Yeah, for sure. No, for real. Let's see. All right, so it says, yes, the first Bible ever published in the U.S. was in the Algonquin language, specifically the Natik dialect by missionary John Eliot between 1660 and 1663. Hold on. That's important to know, man. That's important to know. Go ahead. You want me to read the rest or you want me to stop? Yo. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you can stop right there. But,
okay.
No, you can stop right there.
Yeah. I don't know if we can hear you, bro. Yo, I don't think we can hear you, bro.
Yeah, you can read that right there.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't hear me?
Okay, cool. I'll read it if you like. Yeah, no, well, we couldn't hear you earlier. But if you want to make it easier, do you want me to read it for you? I don't mind. You want to make it easier? I'll read it for you, all right?
Yeah.
Just let me know.
I mean, like I said, yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so then I can make it easy for you. All right, so it says your next page, Algonquin refers to a large family of indigenous languages spoken across North America from the Atlantic coast to the Rocky Mountains.
Now, the reason why I'm pointing this out again is because the question is, brothers and sisters, why would the first Bibles be printed in a Native American tongue? You would have to say that the main objective would be to what? Convert these natives. This is why the theories of the 10 lost tribes started being a big thing. This is why we started seeing maps, Christian writers like Ethan Smith and things of that nature talking about how natives were Hebrews and things of that nature. Because what brothers and sisters don't realize is that the Christians and the Jews in the 1400s or 1500s, they had a big dilemma with the people of the Eastern Hemisphere. And their biggest dilemma was enemies at that time that would go against the Bible. The question was, well, who are these new people? What are these new lands that this guy Columbus discovered according to your Bible? Meaning that if your Bible is the word of God, like you guys claim, then you have to answer the question about who these people are biblically. This is why we see all of these theories about the 10 lost tribe. And it was like such a big thing in the 16, 17, 1800s. But if you guys notice, prior to that, there weren't no books about no 10 lost tribes, about no Arzareth. If the most sources that we can pull, us brothers that are in this walk, only could go back to the 14, 15, 1600s.
Yeah, it's true. That's we got. That's
was no
yep,
theory about this 10 lost. You see what I'm saying? So this is why you see a lot of these come up, because there was none. Think about that. You know what I'm saying? And this is all the, when I talk to Christians of theology about natives, about how this is a native book, they would have to agree with me when I bring up these type of points. Like, even you guys are professing it yourself, because in the 1500s you guys had a dilemma, and your answer was making up all these books, and even in your Jewish encyclopedias emphasizing how these natives were Israelites. But prior to that, you guys had no sources stating that. Why? Because you guys had a problem. The answer was that we were Israelites.
And you know that reminds me.
And the reason why, like I said, I'll go to the Algonquin language. Like, go ahead.
Yeah, let me just. Yeah, that reminds me. There's a book. I think I'm sure I shared it here before. It's a short page. Let me see if I can just kind of quickly reference it. And it says how that the first time they were able to pronounce the name of the Creator was when they heard it here. This is from the Great Migration, page 229, just to kind of add a little bit to your point, because that to me baffles me. Like, what do you mean? Like, you didn't know his name this whole freaking time and shit? Like, you didn't know the pronunciation. And it says 229, the Great Migration. Among the Hebrews, the word had always been the most sacred and mysterious of names, with references to this sacred. Oh, hold on a second. Let me enlarge this one. With among the Hebrews, the word had always been the most sacred and mysterious of the names. With reference to this sacred word, the American biblical scholar Mitchell says the pronunciation, Jehovah, unknown in Europe until year 1520, had no warrant except in the superstitious customs in accordance with which the Jews, to avoid the use of the sacred name, printed the YHVH with the vowel of Adohim or Adhan. I don't know, what is it? Adonai or whatever, Lord. And when reading their scripture, substitute the letter for the former. So to me, that always baffled me. Like, how can I don't understand not know his name? You know what I'm saying? So go ahead. Oh shoot! What happened? Did you lose the page?
You can hear me? No.
Yeah. Okay, you took the page. Perfect.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to start off with this video, and we're going to start getting, after this video, we're going to start getting into what this book actually says. And then, like I said, after that, I'm going to two very powerful points about this discussion about the old world, right? I'm going to show you guys very powerful information proving how the Mayans were basically in Egypt around the time of the Exodus, right? I'm going to show you guys evidence of that, right? And then I'm going to start showing you sources stating how the Egyptians claimed that that they were that the Mayans were the ancestors of the Egyptians, right? But then later on, I'm going to show you how it flips. Then how these new claims are now stating how how the name from the Mayans. Okay, and we're going to start, like I said, I'm going to start presenting. But this video we're going to about to discuss is going to bring out some powerful points about this being the old world, right?
Hey, just to give you a heads up, every now and then, not often, like you break up a bit, okay? So.
Okay.
We can see your screen, bro.
All right. You can see it? I bet. All right, now watch. This is like a quick, like minute and a half video, right? About this book, right?
Yeah.
Watch this.
Okay, so hold on a second. Give me a second. The brothers are saying the audio's breaking up big time. Is it me or is the brother cutting in and out? I think you were. I know these. You sound clear now, but you kind of were kind of like coming in and out for a little bit. So if it happens, I'll give you a quick heads up. Okay, just to let you know.
Okay. Are they saying it's just me or is it both of us?
Is it both of us or is it just brother Vega? Okay, no, they say it's much better now. Okay, maybe I don't know. Maybe it was an issue at once, but it says we're good to go. All right, cool. Let's go.
All right.
This the Americas is Grenada, Israel, the Promise. These are biblical place names in Utah, including Jerusalem. Utah's nickname is the Beehive State. There is a mountain in eastern Nevada named Mount Moriah, and it is over 12,000 feet high. In Utah, not only is there a River Jordan, but it runs out of a freshwater lake into the Great Salt Lake, which is where
Come on.
It does that to me sometimes. You know that stuff that he's saying, it is interesting, man, because you can't find rivers like that over in that area, to be quite frank with you, you know? I mean, here, I think it's giving you a hard time, huh?
Yeah, hold on.
Maybe you want to minimize your screen.
Let me refresh it.
Yeah, that may help too. Do you want to send me the link? Sometimes it could be like the RAM on your computer, because it does that shit to mine. I'm just a little stingy to buy another one right now. Yeah, it just froze. Okay. There it goes. Here, let me see if I can find it over on my end. Let me see if I can find it real quick. What is it? Utah, the biblical land of Judah. Hey, check it. Let me play it. Let me play it because it doesn't freeze on me. Okay? Can you hear me, bro? Do you want me to run it? Because I think it'll run smoothly on my end.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. All right. Now it's about a minute. It's 2 minutes. You want me to stop at what point? 30 seconds in, 40, or let it run?
Yeah, just let it run. Yeah, it's like about not even 2 minutes.
Okay, perfect. Let's go. All right, let me see. Here, we'll even do this. I like to help the people out. Ready? All right, here we go.
Promise. All of these are biblical place names in Utah, including Jerusalem. Utah's nickname is the Beehive State. There is a mountain in eastern Nevada named Mount Moriah, and it is over 12,000 feet high. In Utah, not only is there a river Jordan, but it runs out of a freshwater lake into the Great Salt Lake, which is remarkably like the Dead Sea. There is also a Mount Nebo in Utah, approximately 12,000 feet high. So yes, with evidence this strong, the real Judah was in Utah. People try to say that it was the Mormons that gave these places like Utah biblical names to support their position as Jews. However, this explanation fails miserably because there are no 12,000 feet high mountains in modern day Israel. Therefore, the real Judah or Israel had to be in Utah because it fits the description of the kingdom of Judah perfectly. The name Utah is derived from the name of the Ute tribe. It means the people of the mountains in the Ute language. According to other sources, Utah is derived from the Apache name Yuda, which means tall. In the so-called Spanish language, it was said as Utah. Subsequently, the English-speaking people adapted the word Utah. There is no J in Hebrew, therefore Judah is Yuda, especially when you consider the fact that the J and Y have the same meaning and numerical value and are interchangeable as a result. Manasseh, Mount Nebo, Mount Pisgah, Jericho, South Galilee, Ephraim, Daniel, Nephi, Moab, Eden, Goshen, Jordan. Come on, man. Part 2 coming soon.
All right. Now he was like I said, we're going to start discussing about what else is being said in that book. But what I wanted you to notice what he was pointing out in his video clip about the fact about Mount Nebo, right?
Yeah, I saw that.
Exactly. Now, the point that the brother is bringing up is the story of Moses and how before Moses died on Mount Nebo, that when he was on top of this mountain, he was able to see the lands of Edom, Ammon, Moab, and the land of Israel from that mountain. And then in that video, he points out, he says, there is no mountain that high in the land of what they claim is Mount Nebo over there. Now, when people do the research of the place that they claim is Mount Nebo over there, that mountain, I believe, is only 2,200 feet high, right? The Mount Nebo that we're claiming over here in Utah is over 12,000 feet high.
Yeah, it says here 2,632 feet above sea level. That's not very high.
Exactly. There you go. So the point where the brother is basically making in that video is what is more likely to be the mountain that Moses died and was able to see all of these landmass. Does it make sense for him to see all of this landmass from a 2,000 foot square mountain or a mountain that's 12,000 feet high? Which one will make more sense?
Yeah, I mean it's a no-brainer. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hello, that's where my mindset goes. Is like, okay, I understand the facts here, but at the same time, when you're reading scripture, it's like there's nothing like that over there. So I'm like, okay, what does that mean then, right? So it makes you have to reset. Go ahead. No, you good, bro. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay, hold on. I'm going to start getting into the discussion now. Hold on, let me get the information about that book. We're going to read together. All right, let me share my screen.
All right, let me get it real quick.
All right,
there you go.
I'm sharing my screen now.
Yeah, we can see it. America is the true old world.
Exactly. So this is the book that the brother in the video was basically discussing a part of it, right? All right, you can read just read it out loud for the brothers so that they can get the gist. Or do you want me to read it?
Bro, I was on mute. My bad. All right, figure 8. It says figure 0. This book cover image is evidence of ancient temples that are located in the Grand Canyon in Phoenix, Arizona. These temples are Indian-style stepped pyramids that are so ancient that they are in ruins. Yeah, I like to see this. It says here, I'll read the whole thing or the bottom
Yeah,
or the top.
yeah. Just read
Okay.
the whole thing. Yeah,
Okay,
just
this
read the whole
book
thing.
is a series of 4 books broken down into 4 volumes. This book is volume 1 of 4, so there's much more to come. This book demonstrates that beloved and renowned scholars like Dr. Ben, Dr. John Hendrick, yada yada yada, even Ivan Tertima were wrong about Africa being the birthplace of civilization, right? Well, first of all, this is why they thought at that time, because they did not have access to the tools and resources that we now have to make the discoveries in this book. Second paragraph says, therefore, Pan-Africanism, which is not a religion, is a concept that was given to us by accredited Western academic Negro scholars who got it all wrong. Because the Americas is Atlantis, which is the mother of the country of Egypt. This book will also prove that the Americas is the true old world and that the Maya Indians civilized the Egyptians, Indians, and Sumerians.
That's a bold statement.
Chapter 1, it says, America is the true old world. All of the major foods necessary to sustain life come from the Americas. Yeah, that's very clear. America, North, South, and Central are the true old world because all the major foods needed to sustain life came from the Americas. And we were later taken to Africa and Asia. Foods like squash, tomatoes, corn, potatoes, beans, wheat, yam, wild rice, which was modified to create modern white rice. Peanut, at 90% of all your fruits and vegetables come from the Americas. Wikipedia link. Go for it. It says the oldest pyramids and the most pyramids are in the Americas. The oldest and biggest pyramids are in the Americas. Cholula Pyramid is the biggest pyramid in the world because its dimensions are 400 by 400 meters and has a total volume of 4.445 million cubic meters, almost twice that of the Great Pyramid of Giza. It says here, figure 1, the Great Cholula Pyramid. The Cholula Pyramid is also a step pyramid, so they are dealing with very ancient pyramids because step pyramids were the first pyramids.
I was going to say, before that, let's go see if we can see a picture of that pyramid that he's talking about. Hold on. That's the pyramid that it's talking about, brothers. That's a model of it. See right there, you can read that.
Yeah, the Great Pyramid of Cholula, Tlachihuapetec, Petec, in Puebla, Mexico, is the largest pyramid and largest monument ever constructed in the world by volume, measuring over 4.45 million cubic meters. Pretty big. It's almost like the ziggurats or something they call them.
So, according to this, what is the largest pyramid in the world, bro? Where is it at?
Mexico.
There you go. Right? So, let's go back to the sources what we were reading before we move forward.
I think there. Nope. Next. That we haven't gotten that one. All right. The oldest pyramid. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I think you just read it.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yep, this one we have that. All right, it says figure 1. In this image of Cholula Pyramid, the largest pyramid structure in the world, notice that they built a church on top of this pyramid to try to hide it, and they covered up the Egyptian city that was once all around this huge pyramid. Then it says, the pyramids in the Americas are all step pyramids, which were your first pyramids. According to the Egyptologists, the step pyramid of Saqqara, the pyramid of Djoser, is the first pyramid that the Egyptians built, dated 2667 through 2648 BC, third dynasty, which is over 4,700 years ago. Egyptologists agree that the step pyramid of the Saqqara, the pyramid of Djoser, was the first pyramid because they agreed that it is the archetype of all pyramids. You have more pyramids in North America than in all Egypt combined. Figure 2, pyramid of North America, Central American, figure 3, South America, figure 4, 5, and 6. Now, if we include the pyramids in Central and South America, it's not even a contest anymore as far as who has the most pyramids between the East or the West, because the West, the Americas, clearly has more pyramids. Now, I didn't know that.
Exactly.
Even more than, like, India combined too over there as well.
Exactly. We have the most compared than any other country.
That's a lot.
They say that number 2 is like China with like 200, but they say that Central America alone has like 1,000.
Yeah, yeah. That was a trip.
Okay, hold on. Let me see before we get into the mummy stuff.
This is the link of. Okay, you want me to read this one?
Yeah.
All right. It says this is the link of the Kansas City Journal article entitled "Prehistoric Man," Monday, October 12, 1886.
So this is from 1886, brothers and sisters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This article proves that the oldest civilization in Yucatan and in Central America, and that Egypt was the first people by immigrants from Yucatan. This article gives 6 facts to support it. The article states in pertinent parts. Let's see. After correlating all data that had been made public to the present time, the conclusion is unavoidable that the oldest civilization was in Yucatan and Central America. Further discoveries may change this conclusion. It seems that Egypt was first peopled by immigrants from Yucatan. Space will allow only a few facts that clearly indicate the truth of assertion. Okay.
So right here, it just said that the Egyptians came from where? Came from the Yucatan people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, before we go any further, I'm going to stop sharing the screen. I'm going to share something else. Let's watch this beautiful video. And this beautiful video is going to prove to you, brothers and sisters, how the Mayans were over there in Egypt. Watch this. How do I stop sharing this?
Just switch the window. I think you can switch it. Yep. Oh, I got it. Okay. Send it again.
There it is. I just sent it. Okay.
There we go. All right. Cool.
Watch this video. Beautiful video.
I don't know if the sound went off or not.
Absolute special access. Today, we get to enter the tomb of Maya. Stephen, please.
Well, this is a chapel or temple of Maya. Now, Maya was a title, not a name, of both men and women throughout dynastic times. This particular era is around the 18th dynasty, the time of the so-called King Horemheb. Now, the key thing here is 1997, Hakim came to the United States, to California. He and my research partner, Bob Butter, and I met him for a couple of weeks, and we discussed. One of the things he discussed on a return trip to Egypt in September of 1997 would be, he said, he would show us evidence of a Mayan temple in Egypt.
Mayan as in culture.
Exactly. And I said, this I never heard of. No, it's not in any text. No one has ever mentioned it. Okay, we came here. This was arranged differently then. A lot of this is new construction. It was not this way in 1997. First of all, I looked on the wall. Behind you, you see that is Maya, but he looks typically commissioned. Right. And I'm looking around, typically commissioned. All it looks. So Hakim would use the expression, well, you know, Stephen, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. He's living in Kemet. He's going to pass in Kemet, so he's betraying himself as a commission. So I said, well, Papa, this is great, but I can't go with this in front of an academic audience. They'll laugh me off the stage. There's nothing here to identify with the culture we're talking about. But then there was a keeper like this gentleman here, was here, didn't speak any English, but saw that I was perplexed. He said, come here. This then was boarded up with just a wooden door. And there was latches there. He threw away the wooden slabs, opened the door, and he said, look up. And that is the key. Took a picture in 1997. Sent it to Mayan daykeeper Hanbat's men. He said he recognizes this as the language of the Itza people, whereas Chichen Itza, he said, is an ancient language. But a lot of people are not sure about Hanbat's men. So we went one step further. In 2010, I got to meet Danalahanusul Ojaj. He is the wisdom keeper, the head of the Quiche Maya of all of Guatemala. I showed him this picture, and his eyes went as big as saucers. And he said to me, that is the language of my ancestors. That is a calendar. That is telling the date of when Maya was here. And how we can't read it, he can't even still read it, but he knows that the circles and squares and different colors, arrangements, and the spokes in the wheel are indications of a date. So, this has never been discussed by any Egyptologist. They cannot put this in a Commission context. There is nothing, or maybe there is others that Yosef has seen, but there's nothing like this in the rest of Egypt. So Mayan elders recognize this as part of their culture. So now the key is, Maya, the word is a title.
That's crazy.
It really is, man. I have a couple books about it, like India, and India mentions that name as well, Maya. I wish I knew where I put it. It's funny, I just haven't gotten really into it. I've looked at a reference, like, kind of ran through it real quick, but not necessarily like, okay, where is this connection coming from? Now, I will say this: there is, and I think all of us, well, at least for me, one of the main questions, and I remember mentioning this to you, is kind of the brother actually asked just now, just real quick. We'll throw one question in there while you're moving. Who were the ancient Greeks, Romans, Saracens in the Americas? So, like those people over there. What's your take on that?
No, I'm sorry. Say again.
Yeah, the brother was asking, who were the ancient Greeks, Romans, Saracens in the Americas?
Who will be the Romans, the Grecians, and things of that nature?
Yeah, who were the ancient Greeks, Romans, Saracens in Americas?
Well, like I said, those things came later on, right? So that's like really kind of like New Testament apocrypha talk, right? You don't read those being a part of the Table of Nations, right? Like nations change, people change, and and this is something that me and the brother Joe were talking about. What was it, like a week ago? Because I remember you even asked me about about the Babylonians and the Egyptians and stuff like that, and you asked me, well, how can you say that these things didn't happen over there? And I said, other than the Bible, and this is the questions you brothers and sisters have to ask yourselves, is like, other than the Bible telling you that the Israelites dealt with these Egyptians, or the Israelites dealt with these Babylonians, or the Israelites dealt with their Persians. The reasons why atheists has always, and people have always gone against the Bible, even in ancient times, is because the question has always been, why don't those nations talk about Israelites? Meaning, you'll see the Kemetic community attacking Bible believers, and they'll point out how there is no Egyptian writing talking about them enslaving Israelites or an Exodus happening. Same thing with the Babylonian history. You could go into Babylonian history and you'll never read in any of their history talking about how they enslaved some Israelites or warred with some Israelite people. Without the Bible.
It's vague. It's vague.
Exactly. Without the Bible, you really can't make those substantiate those claims. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because even people in India, like their history, just to add, people in India, they don't write about that. They don't say that either, at all. And supposedly they got history. So that's a good point, though. That's a good point. So I think what you're saying is the Roman Greek mythology is very new. Is that what you're stating, or what is the separation between the two, right? Because I see what you mean by that. Because they don't write about really much of any of that.
Exactly.
Themselves, like Plato and all those people, they don't.
Exactly. And the thing is that, and I want you to think about it, right? So you talk about these Greeks and these Romans. Now, even in the time of Romans, right? If you really think about it, you don't see a lot of history of them enslaving Israelites. What is one of the most famous slavery stories that people talk about history when it comes to the Romans? They'll talk about who? Spartacus.
Right.
About how Spartacus, this he was a Scavian, I believe it was. That was his nation. Who led a rebellion against Rome. You see what I'm saying? If you really think about, that's what their history teaches. It doesn't teach about Jews trying to rise up against them.
No.
Think about that. But
if you guys, for your New Testament believers, you guys all say all day long about how the Israelites were subjective to Romans, 70 AD, 70 AD, such a huge thing in history, but not according to the Romans. Shoot, one of the best Roman stories is about some Scavian dude named Spartacus.
Yeah, this Spartacus 103 to 71 BC was a Thracian gladiator who was one of the first escaped slave leaders in the third servile war, a major slave uprising against the Roman Republic.
Exactly.
And you know, and again, remember I told you that's why when you get into the scriptures, right? Like you read it, and I'm thinking Deuteronomy 28 because supposedly that's 70 AD right there. That's what we were told even in school, 70 AD. But when you read Deuteronomy 28, it doesn't make any sense because it's talking about nations from somewhere else, you know what I mean, that you wouldn't be familiar with. So, you know, if Romans were ruling the Jews at that time, then how would it eagle flieth and tongue they didn't understand? So it's like that is when I can wonder if 70 AD really even it applies to this. And, you know, again, that's just my take on Deuteronomy 28 because it has to fit. You know what I mean? And it just doesn't make sense to me when I read it like that. Anyways, go ahead.
Oh yeah, you could continue.
All right, I'm gonna read it. Okay, cool. Sounds good. Let's go. The Americas has the oldest mummies. It says the Spirit Cave mummy from Spirit Cave of Fallon, Nevada, which is 9,400 years old. Spirit Cave mummy is the oldest mummy in the world, and it is in the Americas. Figure 7. Additionally, we also have the Chinchorro mummies in South America. In North Chile, figure 8 and 9. These mummies are over 7,000 years old. There's a Wikipedia link. Then it says Chinchorro mummies. These archaeological, anthropological evidence demonstrates that the Americas is the true old world. Scholars should be looking at the Americas for oldest civilizations because the oldest mummies are in the Americas. Their scientific approach on where to look should be completely opposite based upon the evidence of the Americas being the old world. Common sense tells me that to look into the Americas for the oldest civilization because the oldest mummies have been found in the Americas.
Wouldn't that make sense? Did you hear that? I want brothers and sisters to realize what you just said. The oldest mummies in the world is it's called the Spirit Cave, right? In Nevada, going back 9,400 years ago. This is, and when we continue reading on, you're going to see that this predates the Egyptian mummifications by thousands of years.
Yeah, here's a little quick link. The Spirit Cave is the oldest human mummy found in North America. It was discovered in 1940 in Spirit Cave, 13 miles east of Fallon, Nevada. See, I didn't know this, by the way. And again, there goes that question. The oldest mummy, right? Science told us the oldest mummies were where? In Egypt, correct? That's not the case here.
And by far, and the thing is that Egypt is not even close to us. That's what's so sad about it. So when we talk about this old world concept, what will you guys would have to agree? Where's the old world at?
I mean, based on finding the biggest pyramids, the oldest mummies. I mean, if the oldest mummy means that's the oldest location, right? Again, you go back and, you know, I have a lot of books on Egypt, and they said that the oldest mummies were in Egypt. They made movies about that shit. You know what I mean? So go ahead, bro. Go ahead. You want me to read this?
Yeah. Keep reading. We're going to keep reading.
All right. It says, this is the link to the Kansas City Journal entitled, I think I read this one already.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Yeah. After cold within space allows a few facts. I think so. Yeah,
I
did read it. Yep. The Americas is the oldest landmass. For further evidence to support the said article can be found in book Queen Mo and the Egyptian Sphinx by Augustus Le Plongeon. The Mayas the Mayas were the ancestors of the Egyptians. Like the Mayas, the Egyptians regarded the West as the region of darkness, the place where the souls of the dead returned to the bosom of their ancestors in the realm of Amenti. Their king Osiris sat on a throne in the midst of the water. There also it was that Thoth performed his office of scribe was, I'm sorry, that Thoth performed his office of scribe was then the worship of the cynocephalus, his totem brought to Egypt from the land of the west.
You heard that? Brought to Egypt from the land of the west.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Let me see.
I know. What's a? Will you go back real quick? What is that thing called? Can you go back? Cynocephalus. Is this like an animal?
Are you looking it up?
Yeah. Is it an animal? No, right? Did I spell it right? Right? Cynocephalus. Let's see where is that? Let's see. Therefore performed his office of scribe was then the worship of the cynocephalus. So is it like an animal, some sort? Huh. I think this is what they're talking about. Something like this. Like a dog shape or some shit. Anyways, go ahead, bro. I'll look it up later. All right, it says Pythagoras borrowed his knowledge of numbers and their meanings from the Egyptians. Theses received here science. I'm sorry, hold on, let me start again. Theses received their science from the Mayas, those civilized strangers, their ancestors who in remote ages, coming from the east and from the west, had settled and brought civilization to the banks of the Nile.
Ooh, wait. What did it just claim that the Mayans did?
It said that from east and west and had settled and brought civilization to the banks of the Nile.
So we brought civilization to Egypt. You hear what it is claiming?
Yeah, it says that. Such case being
Which
such
makes sense because if we were the ones doing mummification first, right, as we just proved earlier, by thousands of years, so this is basically backing up that statement. It's basically telling you that yes, that we were the ones that brought civilization and even taught them mummification. Even mummification they learned from us.
So that would mean that the Mayas went from here over there?
Yeah. Brother, just like the video we just showed. Remember that Maya temple that's in Egypt?
Yeah.
That was the proof. And again, that dated to remember, he said the 18th dynasty. So when you go to the 18th dynasty, that's around the time of Moses. I believe that's like what is that, around 1100 BC or something like that?
The 18th dynasty. Let me see. Hold on. Let's check it. 18th Egyptian dynasty. I can't even do it right. There we go. Ancient Egyptian dynasty. It says around 1500 BC to 1200 BC.
Look at that. Before Moses.
Yep.
1500 BC. So that's what this is what the that anthropologists basically said, that there's this evidence of and it's funny that they even call it the Maya temple over there in Egypt. That's crazy in itself. Okay, showing how the Mayans were making trips over there.
Pythagoras, I read about this guy. Pythagoras borrowed his knowledge of the numbers and their meanings from the Egyptians. And they're basically saying that the Egyptians brought all that from the Mayas, right?
Exactly.
Got it. All right.
Now you keep reading.
Okay, where did I stop? Okay, that's right. I stopped at the Nile. Such being the case, it is but natural that we should find the same doctrine regarding cosmogony and the meaning of numbers in Mayak, their mother country in the land of the West.
Woo!
Yeah, that's heavy, dude. This is
their
from a
mother country. He said their mother country.
Then it says Queen Mo and the Egyptian Sphinx. That's the book that he's referencing, right?
Exactly.
See Queen Mo and the Egyptian Sphinx by Augustus Leplon. I'm gonna check it out. Let's see. Yeah, I'll pull it up while you do that. All right, next one. It says the Maya sages doubtless had reached similar conclusions since they call their country Mayak, that is the land that first emerged from the bosom of the deep, the country of the shoot. And the Egyptians, according to Herodotus, boasted that their ancestors in the land of the West were the oldest men on earth. Herodotus said this.
Crazy. Oh, we're going to start getting into, like I said, now we're going to start getting into more deep waters. Because right now, this is remember, this is all from that book, is the America of the Old World. This is what we're all still discussing. But in a little bit, we're going to get into other sources stating this stuff. And not only that, showing sources stating how many people believe that this was the Americas was the Atlantis, meaning the Old World.
Real quick, according to Herodotus, boasting that their ancestors, I'm sorry, this one, this part, that the land, I'm sorry, that it is the land that first emerged from the bosom of the deep. This is after the deluge, right? Correct? The first ones to emerge, is that what you're talking about? Is something different?
Like, what do you mean?
Well, like after the waters, right? Noah and all that stuff, right? Is this what it's saying? After that, then the first country emerged, or are we talking about something totally different? Look what it says. That it is the land that first emerged from the bosom of the deep, the country of the shoot.
It could be talking about either creation or, like you said, it could be probably talking about the time after Noah. It could be either or.
So it doesn't. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Sounds good. All right. Let's go.
Yeah.
It says the firstborn among continents, America had been falsely denominated the New World. Hers was the first dry land lifted out of the waters. Hers was the first shore washed by the oceans that enveloped all the earth besides. I guess that's what they're talking about. Yeah, after the flood. And while Europe was represented only by islands rising here and there above the sea, America, Atlantis, already stretched in an unbroken line of land from Nova Scotia to the far west. Continue.
Yeah. Did you see what it called the America?
Yeah, Atlantis, the old
world. Like I said, we're going to start discussing about that in a little bit. I just want everybody to remember. Remember, I told you that everything I'm showing you later on, we're going to start tying all these things. You know what I'm saying? Even again, don't forget about the Algonquin language, because again, wait till we get to the last video, because again, it's going to all tie in together. And I'm going to keep reminding you, brothers, how these things that I'm showing you are going to be tying in together.
And the Freemasons, that they consider this Atlantis. That's big in their doctrine. In their doctrine. So, and I always wondered why that it's so important to them. You would think, like, can it really be a fair? Because I've read other parts where it says that Atlantis. I think it was Plato's supposedly. Well, who was it? I forget who wrote about Atlantis first. Plato, and he said it was just like a novel, right? But then you take these Freemasons and they're dead on set as this is Atlantis, the promised land, quote unquote, right? So, all right, let's continue. Firstborn among continents. Wait, hold on. Where did I stop? Oh, second paragraph. Evidence to support the fact that the Mayas are the ancestors of the Egyptians can be found in the tomb of the Maya, temple of the Maya in Egypt. Because there is a Maya on the wall that is dressed in Commission Egyptian garb. Author and tour guide Brian Forrester, and Stephen Meller walked us through the temple of the Maya to show us the evidence. Here's the video evidence so that you can see for yourselves. That's the one you showed us, right?
Yeah. Right, now, cool. I want you to realize what he just said, right? How he said that this Maya was dressed in what? Basically in Kemet gear, right?
Yeah.
So what does that mean? Meaning that the display on the wall, you can tell that he looked like a what?
An Egyptian?
No. Remember, they're talking about how he's dressed, right? He's dressed in their garment. So what does he look like? Like a Maya.
Yeah, I mean, so he's dressed like a Maya.
Claims, right?
Go ahead, yeah.
Basically saying, you can see this picture, he looks like a Mayan, but he's dressed in Kemetic gear to blend in with the Kemetic science. It makes sense.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You see, and he said, and the proof of that is that when they looked at the roof, and then they basically saw that like that Maya calendar up there.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yep.
All right. Cool.
Next page. All right, it says Tomb of Maya is a significant 18th dynasty burial site located in the Saqqara necropolis, belonging to the high-ranking treasurer of Tutankhamun and Horemheb. Excavated between 1896 and 1991, this non-loyal limestone tomb features well-preserved, colorful reliefs, a pylon entrance, and unusually for Saqqara, the decorated subterranean chambers where the statue of Maya and his wife Merit were found.
And this right here is basically a picture of the brother Maya, or the person that they're discussing.
Yeah, yeah.
And you can clearly see he does not look like no African features at all.
No, not at all.
Let me zoom in. Let me zoom in on the picture if brothers can see.
Matter of fact, there's one tomb where this guy is, I think he's on his knees, and he's squatting. No, he's like squatting. No, not squatting. He's like sitting down, like Indian style, and he looks kind of like Raza. He's got a little mustache. You ever notice that guy? You know what I'm talking about?
That's what this statue kind of looks like. This statue looks like he got like a little mustache.
Bro, I actually used that to give an example of my dad. Like the dude looks just like my dad, bro. I was like, what the fuck? So it's like, okay, all right. No, but I'm following, dude. I'm following. It's a trip. I always think about those statues. Like, bro, they don't look African at all, man. What the fuck is what's going on here?
Exactly.
All right. It says the tomb of Maya and his wife Merit at Saqqara is a significant 18th dynasty between 1330 1310 BC burial, located near the step pyramid of Dojir in Egypt. By the way, family, BC means before Christ, right? That's what they reference. All right, go ahead.
And again, saying this is like, I would say like 100, maybe almost 200 years before Moses or the Exodus.
Mm-hmm.
So this is already evidence of Maya making trips over here to Egypt. So that's the proof.
I actually have this other book that has two examples, like how the Egyptians were breaking down wheat or corn using the same tools as the Aztec mother was teaching her daughter. Exact same example, same tools, same concept, everything, bro. It was a trip. What is that? Spirit Cave Mummy, Nevada? Is that a video?
Yeah, no, it's just a picture. This is what we were discussing earlier. Remember about how you read how the oldest mummy was from the Spirit Cave?
Right.
Yeah, this is just a picture of it, of one of the mummies that they found, just to show brothers and sisters what the mummy looked like.
It says, yep. Want me to read it?
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, it says Spirit Cave is the oldest human mummy found in North America. It was recovered in 1940 in Spirit Cave, 13 miles east from Fallon, Nevada, United States, by the something husband and wife archaeological team of Sydney and Georgia Wheeler. It says he was said to be 40 years old when he died. Analysis of the remains show similarities to North and South American indigenous people. Hold on. Analysis of the remains show similarities to North and South American indigenous peoples, and in 2016, the remains were repatriated to the fallen Pauti-Shushan tribe, Nevada. Wow. The oldest mummy in the entire world in civilization, correct?
Correct.
The spirit mummy was one of the first to be dated using accelerated mass, I don't know what that letter is, spectrometer, radiocarbon dating. In turn, its discovery and analysis gave much insight and motivation for further research into the chronology of the Western Great Basins. It's a trip. And it matches the people, by the way. So this is not African people, right? Like not European either. Like they
exactly. These are mummies, yeah. And these are the Chichoro mummies that were in South America?
Yeah,
like 7,000 years ago.
That's a family, right? Like a mom.
Yeah,
baby.
It's like a family, right? Yeah.
Sheesh.
See, now this was about the Chichoro mummies.
It says the Chinchorro mummies are mummified remains of individuals from South American Chinchorro culture, found now northern Chile. Okay, so it's northern Chile is still South America, like south of the Americas. They are the oldest example of artificially mummified human remains, haven't been buried up to 2,000 years before the Egyptian mummies. Hold on. Damn, bro, this shit is crazy, dude.
I found, and again, and you know what? Every time I've been beating up Kemet brothers with this information, and they get mad because they hate to see this type of stuff, because they, like you said, they've been taught all their life that that the Samaritan, that the Egyptian civilizations are the oldest. But then I'm hitting them in the face with their own science.
And remember, keep in mind, we read earlier that they've done DNA on these particular samples of people, and they connect them to the natives, not anybody else. So I guess that whole "we was kings," they weren't the first mummies, that's for sure. You weren't the first mummies, bro. Anyway,
yo, keep reading. That's what I'm saying. It's gonna explain it. That's what I'm saying. It already said that by 2,000 years, man. Y'all are too. Hey, you Egyptian worshipers, you guys are 2,000 years behind us, sir.
Oh, that's crazy, bro. Now, even at that part, it says the earliest mummy that has been found in Egypt dated around 3,000 BC. Hold on, let me slow down. So the earliest mummy that has been found in Egypt dated around 3,000 BC. So that's 3,000 years before Christ. Right now we are 2026. So that's 5,026 years ago, so to speak, right? The oldest anthropogenically modified Chinchorro mummies dated from around 5,050 BC. So that means 7,076 years ago, right? Correct? Is that right?
No, it was like 5,050. It's basically saying 5,050 BC. But
right. But if we add our years now, it's way beyond.
Yeah, that's like from now. Yeah, it's like 7,000 years ago. Yep.
So it says here the next page, or I'm sorry, sentence. The oldest naturally mummified corpse recovered from the Atacama Desert is dated around 7,020 BC. So that's still here, though. Correct?
Exactly.
Damn. So that would be about 9,000 and change. It's
now,
a shell.
What's the gap? What's the gap between that one, the 7,000 BC, to the first earliest Egyptian mummies that goes back 3,000 BC? That's 4,000. You guys are 4,000 years behind.
Hey, how do the Comedics feel about when you tell them this shit?
Bro, they be getting pissed, bro.
Because they really worship that, right? Like,
oh,
they
hell
even
yeah.
touch their heads to that shit.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
That's a trip, dude. That's a trip. Let me keep going.
They get mad when I show them that we have more periods, or we have way more pyramids than they do, that we have the largest pyramid than they do, that our mummies go back way further than they don't like none of this. Oh, trust me, they don't like none of this.
Next sentence. Shell midden and bone chemistry suggests that 90% of the people's diet was seafood. Many ancient cultures of fisher folk existed, tucked away in the arid river valley of the Indies, but the Chinchorro made themselves unique by their dedicated preservation of the dead. The Chinchorro culture settlements and artificial mummifications process in Arica and Parinacota were dedicated a World Heritage Site by UNESCO in 2021. I'm gonna look into this. I've actually never heard of the Chinchorros, to be honest with you, bro. My first time. Want me to read this?
Yeah.
Okay. The Americas and the true. Hold on. The Americas is the true old world. Scholars should be looking at the Americas for oldest civilizations because the oldest mummies are in the Americas. Their scientific approach on where to look should be completely opposite, based upon all the evidence of the Americas being the old world. Common sense tells me to look into the Americas for the oldest civilizations because the oldest mummies have been found in America. Can I say something real quick, bro? I don't want to slow you down. Remember that other book I showed? Was it this one? No. I think I put it down. The one regarding the Jews in America, right?
Yeah.
So there is a page in there where they were talking about how they found this plant that they had not seen in quite some time, right? Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. Oh, man, it sucks if I... Matter of fact, you know what? Let me keep going because I don't want to slow you down, bro. Do you want to keep moving to the next picture, or do you want to say something right now about that?
Oh, no. Go ahead.
Okay. All right, here we go. At the top, it says Figure 10. This is an engraving from the temple of Hatshepsut, I believe, a 18th dynasty Egyptian pharaoh, which depicts maize corn from Punt, which is only indigenous to the Americas. That's true, though. I love me my tortillas, man. You want me to keep going?
Yeah.
The Americas is the oldest.
What I said, right? That in this Egyptian temple, right, going back to around the 18th dynasty, it depicts maize, right?
Right.
You see that, right? From Foot.
Right.
Remember that. But hold on. But what is Foot, brother?
Foot over there in that's the son of Ham.
Okay, then.
Right?
So yeah, and where did he just claim Foot? Remember, maize from where's the land of Ham? Then, according to what this is stating.
Well, then don't sound like it's over there.
It sounds like it's saying it's in the Americas, right?
Right.
Okay, there, right? So if they're saying that which depicts corn from Foot, which is the land of Ham, but corn is only indigenous to the Americas. So what is the claim? That Foot has to be where?
It has to be not over there.
Yep, exactly. Has
somewhere in this region. So okay, so I pulled this up real quick before we move on. Hold on, let me show you this real quick. Hold on, let me see if I could hold on. I'm just gonna move this. Hopefully I don't lose your screen, okay? I'm just gonna switch it real back. Hold on. Okay, I'm just gonna switch it and I'll pull you right back. This is the book that I was sharing earlier, right? But in this book here, it says this interesting part. I believe in page 10. I don't know if you can see it, bro. It says number 24. And this is a trip to me, right? That's why I was like, dude, I got to share this with you. Number 24 says of one of the conjunctures, balsamum was peculiar to the Jewish country and thought to be long lost ago, saith Plino, right? If it were, this now found again in the Americas. You know what that is?
Now, what is that?
I'll show you real quick. Because it's part of the scriptures too. It blew my mind when I was like, what do you mean? Hold on a second. So you guys didn't see it over there for a while. But if you look, hold on, man. Come on, slow down, bro. Slow down. Balsamum. Balsamum basically is this right here, bro. I'll just go all of it. It's balsam.
Okay, I see it.
Right. Is the resinous exudate, whatever they call that, which forms a certain kind of tree and shrub, balsam, ultimately from a Semitic source, such as Hebrew. You see what I'm saying? So it's a biblical name for balm of Gilead. You see that right there?
So that's the name of the plant, balsam?
Right, yeah. Well, here, that's like they hadn't seen it since. It's like since a long time ago, and all of a sudden, it shows up here. So you know what I mean? Like, wait, hold on. How does that happen?
Where does balsam originate from?
Well, apparently okay, so let me go back to the book because they're talking about it being.
No, I'm saying just Google it. Just Google it real quick. Like, where does it originate from?
Okay, well, let me open up the page here real quick. Bro, open up, dude. What the hell? Oh, you're gonna act cool now? Oh, I know what it is. My stupid ass. Get on the way. Okay, let me not lose that real quick. Where is balsam originate from? Okay.
Yeah.
Where does originate from? It says balsam originates as a. Where's balsam from? Okay, what land? Balsam originate. Where does balsam origin come from? Balsam refers to as, oh my dear Jesus, bro, I can't even find something simple to tell me. Click on this. It's also Semitic, from the Semitic. I'm assuming that land over there. Okay, there is an isolated Old English used for, in the Middle English, use balsamum. So I guess it's known for this real quick. Let me use that. Okay. Where is balsam from? It's from a resin tree, a copal. Balsam of Peru, balsam of Tulo, balsam of Gilead. So the only time you see the balsam of Gilead is from the Bible reference. But other than that, it seems like it's from the Americas, bro. Shit. So it's those little details, right, that I'm reading. I'm paying like, okay, well, what the fuck does that mean? All right, I'm gonna ask him when he's on live, bro. But I guess that's where it originates from. I'm assuming, right? I think so. All right, let's go back to your page. All righty. Okay, let's see. Where did I stop off? That the America is the oldest landmass, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's go. Further evidence to support the said article can be found in the book Queen Mo and the, Egyptian Sphinx by Augustus Le Plongeon. The Mayas were the ancestors of the Egyptians. Like the Mayas, the Egyptians regarded
the Mayas were the ancestors of the Egyptians. That's crazy. Like they're correlating two people from one hemisphere to the other.
Now, remember, if you guys just came in, family, just keep in mind that all of this whole video is connecting. So the brothers is bringing us from the beginning to the end. So just don't take out certain pieces and assume and run with it. You got to watch the whole thing. You understand? If you got to go back to it. So let me start it again. Hold on, go back a little bit.
No, I think you read that. You read that quote on another part, so we can skip that part.
Perfect. Now let's do it. Okay.
So read this part, right? We're going to read from this book now, right?
Yes, sir. Geological sketches by Agassiz or something. L. Agassiz.
All right. Now look what he says here.
All right. It says the Maya sages doubtless had reached similar conclusions since they call their country Mayak. That is, the land first emerged from the bosom of the deep. The country of Shut. And the Egyptians, according to Herodotus, boasted that their ancestors in the land of the West were the oldest men on earth. If the opinion of Leo Humphrey and a host of modern geologists regarding the priority of the Americas' antiquity be correct, what right have we to gainsay the assertion of the Mayas and of the Egyptians in claiming likewise priority for their people and their country? But it is but natural to suppose that the intelligence in man was developed to the oldest continent among its most ancient. The other way. That one?
Yeah.
Okay, the ancient. It says the America, the old world, firstborn among the continents, though so much later in culture and civilization than some of more recent births. America, as far as her physical history is concerned, has been falsely denominated the New World. Hers was the first dry land lifted out of the waters. Hers was the first shore washed by the oceans that developed all the earth beside. And while Europe was represented only by islands rising here and there above the sea, America already stretched on an unbroken line of land from Nova Scotia to the far west. I think we read that somewhere else too, right?
Yes, we did. It was just showing you the source, yep, or where book it came from.
Here we go, right here. All right, so now Punt, by the way, is Put, okay, family? So you have, Mizraim, Put, and Canaan, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so Put is one of the Hamitic tribes. Put was in South America because the Egyptians showed on their temple engraving what they had brought from Punt, which had been in the Americas, South America, because maize and pineapples are only indigenous to the Americas. Punt is akin to Ethiopia. Akin, remember that, right? Mm-hmm. Meaning a brother. So Ethiopia is technically Kush, right?
Mm-hmm.
because Punt, like Ethiopia, is considered to be the birthplace of Egypt, both of which were in the Americas.
Woo, what? Both. You heard that, right? Now it's claiming that Ethiopia and Put.
Yep. It says because Atlantis was in the Americas, mostly South America, as I will demonstrate later. Then it says Dr. Gunnar Thompson argues that Punt was a Phoenician trading base near the equator on the American mainland. Want me to continue? Because you just highlighted that section.
No, you can keep reading.
All right. The New World was a major source of copper, which is found mainly in the Andean in Peru and Isles Royal in the Lake Superior. Paul Galles argued that the land of Punt was the Puno region of Peru on the shores of Lake Titicaca, where there are many old gold and autonomy mines, A metals that were brought back to Punt. The reed boats used on Lake Titicaca are almost identical to those used in ancient Egypt. 1, Gunnar Thompson, Secret Voyage to the New World. 9 True Adventurers from the Forbidden Chronicles of the American Discovery, Seattle, Washington. Misty Isles Press, 2006, page 173 through 197. Then it says Gunnar Thompson, How the Portuguese Outfoxed Columbus in Frank Joseph, Unearthing Ancient America. So these are different sources that he's using. The Lost Sagas of Conquerors, Castaways, and Scoundrels, Franklin Lakes. And we knew NJ New Page. It says 2008, page 334 through 243, Gunnar Thompson, From Fantasy Isles into Continents, How Myths Became Realities of the Hands of the Portuguese Cartographers. Then it says Atlantis discovered. Atlantis was in America. Atlantis was in the Americas because a place name like Atlantic or Atlantis Ocean, Atlanta, Georgia, or Aztland State Park in Wisconsin, Sons of Wakanda. Also, Atlantis was in Mexico, according to the book. India once ruled the Americas. That's one of the books I have by Gene Matlock. Mexico has a lot of place names that contain Tlan, which is the whole, right? But why are the initials A and final TS missing in that popular Mexican place name? Then it says, hard evidence suggests that the Sanskrit is the father of most world-class languages. If we use Sanskrit to explain the true meaning of Atlantis, we learn that the initial A means no longer. The final T or T derives from the Sanskrit des or tes, meaning nation. Atlantis, no longer the Tlan or Tolan nation. When a Atlantis sank under the ocean named after it, it certainly ceased to exist. However, the westernmost extremes of Atlantis, which is Mexico, is still above waters. It continues to be the Toyan or Tlan. Continue. Then it says, hard evidence suggests that...
We just read that.
Yep. You may want to move that one up a bit.
All right, yeah, you can read this one.
All right.
This is from the book Civilizations in Ancient Egypt by Katanga A. Bongo.
It says here, the idea that it was Europeans who introduced civilization to Africa is one of the biggest historical myths, okay? In fact, evidence from archaeological, oral history, and traditional languages and cultural practices strongly indicate that it was the South American Indians who introduced civilization to Africa.
Yo, you think these Kevin dudes love like
it's like it's kind of hard to really believe them too sometimes, for me. I don't really get into much of that, but it's like when you see the imagery of Egyptians, they don't look like the rest of the Africans, man, for the most part.
Like I said, we'll get into that. Like I said, after this, we're going to start getting into other sources, and we'll get into all that.
Got you. All right, let's continue. Where did I leave off? South America. Okay, Africa. Here's where I stopped. It says, strongly indicate that it was the South American Indians who introduced civilization to Africa some 7,000 years ago. Remember the mummification? Right. 7,000 BC, right? One of the first ones, right? Okay. Long before the Greek and Roman civilization emerged, which is what you're saying. Like they don't talk anything about that particular history if they've been around that long as well, correct?
Yep.
Right. The South American Indian had introduced civilization to Africa, therefore making Africa the second continent in the world to become civilized. Damn, hold on. Just, the first everything, right?
You think an African would love to hear likes to hear this?
The first everything and shit. Like, yo, the first everything to be civilized. How about that one? Yeah, that's the question now. Though.
So we were the first people to be civilized before Africans, Asians, and Europeans. Man. Oh man, this is crazy.
Keep in mind, family, that he did show evidence regarding the mummification. They went back and did the DNA of the mummy as well as to the people, and it has nothing to do with them. So, he did bring that out. And that to me is like very striking. Because nowadays, some people don't want to believe in DNA. Well, I'll tell you what, dude, if somebody accuses you of murder, you're going to believe in that shit. If it can get you free. You get what I'm saying? So, that's important. All right, let's continue. It says, spurred on by their South American Indian guest. Hold on. Spurred on by their South American Indian guest. Wow. The Africans built great empires that lasted for several thousand years at a time. Contrary to popular myth in the Western world, the advent of European destroyed civilizations in Africa rather than made it. That's a trip.
Now, what I'm saying? Now we could get into some imagery about this African stuff, right? And this is just things that I point out to brothers all the time, especially to the Kemet community. One of their biggest god is Horus, correct? Now, here's a depiction of Horus, as you can see on the bottom corner. And this falcon is a falcon that's indigenous to the Americas. It's called the pendulum falcon.
The pendulum falcon?
Yes.
Let me look them up. And
you know what I'm saying? So basically, the two falcons so when you research about Horus, about the two falcons that can represent Horus, it'll tell you about the pendulum falcon, and I forgot the other name of the other falcon, which is an African falcon. Well, that falcon is brown, and it doesn't really look like the depiction as we see Horus looking like.
Yeah.
So when you compare the African falcon to the pendulum falcon, which is found in North America, you find that Horus represents a North American falcon. Look at the head; you can see it's clearly representing the pendulum falcon. So why is so the question is to the Kemetic community is, why is one of your most famous gods that you guys brag about representing a falcon that's an American falcon and not African?
Yeah, how would they even have an idea of what that falcon looks like if it's not even anywhere near that region, like its origin, correct? So there's no falcons like that over there, absolutely whatsoever.
Just like I said, so these are just proofs that we obviously had ties within each other, just like how I proved how the Mayans came over here in the Maya temple.
Yep. I have this page from the mysteries of the Mexican pyramid, right? And it shows a picture. It has a picture of people worshiping, and in certain worshiping something, and in certain images, certain statues that look like that over there. You get what I mean? Now, me, obviously, I would think that it's like, oh, it's like those people, but no. On the contrary, it almost seems like they got this information here and almost ran with it. I'm like, again, I'm letting you handle the floor because this is an open topic for me. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. But before we get into more detail, let's address how we were talking about how you say that a lot of the Egyptians look like our people, and I totally agree with you. Right now, I'm going to show you guys a couple of things. Right, this was found in the Grand Canyon, images like this, right, of these the supposed pyramids. and even artifacts, right? Hold on.
Yeah.
Where is it? There it is. This is a tablet that was found in the Grand Canyon of an Egyptian stone head, right? More Egyptian artifacts that they found. Just, stuff like that, right? Now,
Yeah.
this is how, like I said, this is just proof how our people had ties with Egypt. Because remember, we're talking about Egypt, right? This whole time we're talking about Mayans going to Egypt, Mayans going to Egypt, and we're civilizing them. We're civilizing them. This is
Mm-hmm.
why we see correlations between Egyptians and Native American culture. As you see right here, this is a statue in Egypt. Look at the headpiece, and we see the same similar headpiece of these feathers being in Native American culture. You see it?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay. Now watch this, right? We see these images all over the Egyptian wall of Egyptians like acting like birds, right? Basically like falcons or whatever are birds, correct?
Yeah. Hey, let me just pause real quick. Hey, family, you guys know how to handle this. I just want to show this example of how people, like this sounds to me like a so-called West African, right? West African American. This is right here. Canelo is an Irish dumb spick. Don't fucking retype that shit, bro. Just say the racist shit that you want to say. That he's a spick. Don't go there, man. We already know. You guys always want to say, "Oh, people are racist towards us." Dude, you're the first example right now, and nobody here is attacking you. You showed up out of nowhere, pointed some stupid ass verses, and then you call our people spicks. So I want my gente to know how you guys think. All right. Anyways, let's continue, bro.
Yeah, so like I was saying, so we see the Egyptian art right here, right? Them depicting them as birds, right? Hold on. Oh, let me get back to it. Oh, my fault. An Egyptian statue, right?
Mm-hmm.
And here we are. Why do we see Native Americans doing the same thing?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Dual Hamitic cultures, right?
There was a brother on YouTube. You probably ran into his channel. He would just post pictures, maybe read books in Spanish, and he actually showed a lot of pictures of the similarities in those dressings, just like what you're doing right now. I'm gonna see if I can find some of his examples while you're doing that. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Right now, look at this picture right here. What is that? This Mayan wearing, right? Is that not African garment right there? Leopard garment.
Mm-hmm.
We can clearly show Africans wearing these garments in their paintings and drawings. The same thing, right? Let me see. Like I said, I want you to show us. We were talking about the Egyptians. Let's stick to the Egyptians real quick. Here we go. Right, perfect example of what we're talking about. That's a Native American woman, and these are Egyptian pictures. Why do our Native American sisters look like the Egyptian, the women on the Egyptian walls?
Mm-hmm. Check it. I found some. Because that's it. That's the one, bro. It's like my book. That's like my dad. Rest in peace, bro.
That's funny, what I'm saying. You see that, right? Look, he looked like a Mexican right there. Like, no, trust me, I'll tell you what. I be showing these Kevin dudes these days. They be getting mad, bro. They're like, "Oh, what were your people over there?" I'm like, bro, I can show you people that look just like you, way more than they look like you do. What the fuck you talking about?
Like, dude, that's a trip. The trip. There ain't no wool there, bro. There ain't no wool there. Check this real quick before you move on. So here's the one that I'm talking about. He was showing pictures like this. So you see, I know you're mentioning Egypt, but I'm just going to run it real quick. Assyria, Tolteca. See that similarity, the feathers, the style, right?
Yeah.
There goes another one right here. You look at that. That's the one that really blew my mind. Look at that one right there. You see how he's holding up the horns like that? Or this one?
Yeah.
That's what you mean, right? The feathers as well?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Check this one out real quick. Two more, and that's it. So you got this particular like dress. You see how the somewhat of a similar style, not exactly, but now this was the one that kind of blew my mind because he brought this up here, and he's talking about like 2 Assyrian helmets, right? And yet you see that here, bro. Look at that. Look at that right there. You see the curvature? The helmets, Mochi, Peru, and Assyria. All right, go ahead, bro. Go ahead, you good. Let me go back to your screen. Where it goes right here. Where you at? Come on,
Right,
bro.
because look, right.
There you go, right there. All right, go.
So, like I said, we see temples that are being built over here that you see over there in Java, which is like in what is that in East India, right?
Yeah.
You see the similarities of our people building structures just like you see over there in the other side of the world. Mesoamerica, you got step pyramids, you got Egypt, you got Indonesia, you got India.
Yo, it's like this, dude. It's like, check this out. It's like this one. When I did the thumbnail, you see Egypt, Iraq, India, Mexico. Was it similar to that? Yeah, like that. You just literally showed that perfect example, man. That was a good picture. What is that called?
Here.
Anchor what? Anchor what?
Yeah. That's in, I believe that's in Indonesia over there by almost Australia.
Bro, it almost looks the same, dude.
Exactly. So I always tell people, why are our ancestors building monuments that we see in all different cultures around the world? Again, this is in Indonesia, Mesoamerica, artifact.
Hey, it's like the voladores, bro. The voladores in Dakota, the voladores here in Mexico, the voladores over there in India as well. I always tripped out on that particular custom. Like it's not everywhere. So it's a trip. Balinese. Where's Balinese?
That's in Asia.
Asia, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow, look at that right there. The what is that? Like a snake type?
Like a dragon, almost like a dragon.
Yeah, that's a trip, dude.
So, you know what I'm saying? So what I like to point out to brothers is like, why do we see that now again? So now we're talking about Balinese, which is in Asia, right? Indonesia, which is by Australia. India, which is in Asia. Why are we seeing our people building things that not only in Africa, as we just showed earlier, but now also in Asia, in basically Australia, all over the world? But everybody else has their own culture. China has their own culture. Japan has their own, going back thousands of years. But over here in the Americas, we could find different cultures and different ways of not only just the culture, but how they built their monuments, going back all around the world.
Let me show you real quick the picture I was talking about. This is from the mysteries of the Mexican pyramids. Look at that right there, bro. Do you see that? That they found that here. But do you see those designs? Do you see those statues, man?
Yeah.
So I was tripping out on that as well. That's more like what you see kind of over there in a sense, right?
Yeah.
All right, let me go ahead and switch back. There you go. What is that?
That's a Maya statue. If you notice what he's wearing the Ephod plate, which is 12 stones with tassels on the end. You see that, brother?
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, I can see it.
So what do we read about the Ephod plate? Like, who wears the Ephod plate according to the scriptures?
The priest.
The high priest. But we see artifacts of Mayans wearing that, right? Beautiful testimonies and stuff like that. All right. We can get back to the main point now. Hold on. Let's go back to what we were discussing.
The clothing is the trippiest, man. It's like there's certain things we don't run from. There's certain things we don't never change. Usually it's our diet and our clothing. You know what I'm saying? And to bring back the fact that corn, because corn is a significant thing, man. Like you can't deny that, you know? Fuck, I wish I had that picture, bro. Damn it.
What I was about to say, like I said, remember I was talking about earlier, we were talking about earlier about how in the 14, 15, 1600s, how the Christians had a dilemma about Ars Rif and about how they had to answer the question about who these people are and things of that nature, right? Well, here's a perfect example of what I was talking about. Like these maps are from like the 1700. Now, if you notice, this is from California. Do you see what they named that sea?
California, Gulf of California, or Cortez Red Sea? Are you fucking me? Are you serious?
You see that, right?
This is Red Sea, something like that, right?
Yeah, Red Sea, right? Look at this map. What does that say?
Red Sea.
Gulf of California, right? Another map.
Oh, I see.
So, brother, do you know how you hear One West? You hear how they say, "Well, we have maps going back to the 16700 of 700 of someplace in Africa called Judah, the land of
Right.
Judah."
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Well, we have maps saying that the Red Sea is over here.
And when you look at the power, I mean, as a matter of fact, hold on. I remember, I don't know if I saw the video or if I heard, or if I read it somewhere or somebody told me, but it said that it's kind of impossible for their Red Sea to really be the biblical one because the water's not that deep. You know, like the people wouldn't drown that heavily. I don't remember if what fucking video it was, bro. And I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, hold on a second. So you're telling me that so-called Red Sea over there is not deep enough to really drown a huge army? They're like, have you ever heard of that by the way or no?
No.
Okay, I'll look for it. I'll see if I can pull it up. I'm not gonna do it today, but I'll try to send it to you later. We're reading this one?
Yeah.
Britain, the key to the world history.
Now, you know what I'm saying? Now, in this book from page 17, here's a page 17 and 18. But I highlighted it for us so we can read from what is basically being stated in those two chapters. So we don't have to read the whole thing. We'll just read. Okay.
It's here. Okay, so it says, as far as Bible geography is concerned, it appears that the main person responsible for its misinterpretation was Constantine the Great. Okay, so in case anybody doesn't know who Constantine the Great is, do you want to share with them who Constantine the Great is real quick?
That's basically the person that people talk about, the Council of Nicaea, when people talk about how the Bible was basically corrupted or whatever the case may be, right, by this Council of Nicaea. It was done by him.
Perfect. Who had definite motives of transferring the arena of Jewish history. Hold on. Who had definite motives for transferring the arena of Jewish history and that of Christ to another region altogether. Holy shit. Go back to the book again. What's the name of the book? Real quick. So the people can see it. So the book is called Britain, the Key to the World History by Gomez Beaumont. Okay? This is important, family. Write this stuff down. Go for it, bro. Let's go back to it. This is good right here. I like this. So it says, let's start again. As far as the Bible geography is concerned, it appears that the main person responsible for the misinterpretation was Constantine the Great, on top of other things, who had definite motives for transferring the arena of Jewish history and that of Christ to another region altogether. He used Christianity as a valuable political asset. Want me to go?
Yeah, keep reading, brother. The whole thing is beautiful.
Selected the East as his empire, and with the aid of Eusebius, which was a famous writer, Jerome as well, famous writers of that time, and others, invented the present Palestine.
Wait a minute. Who are you?
Oh, shit. You know, I do want to pause real quick because the scriptures talk about the land of milk and honey, huh? They don't really look like that.
I'm telling you, now remember, I told you the first part of this whole lesson, I was bringing out that book and these videos, right? And I told you that now I'm going to start bringing out how all these news sources are going to tie in all together about what we're discussing. If you notice, it started talking about in the last sources about Atlantis and this, like you said, the land of milk and honey. This is where we're going to start getting into it, brothers and sisters, about this land of milk and honey and Atlantis. And according to these Greek philosophers, and even like we're reading here, Constantine, about how they're discussing about how they're lying to the people about not only where the land of Israel is, and even how they even invented present Palestine. It's crazy. It's an imagination. Like they just clearly just made it up, just to hide where the real land is at.
Yeah, and think about this too. That he's Constantine was the. I mean, I have the book called the Constantine the Great, and in that particular book, hold on, let me see if I can just real quick. So because people need to know, Constantine was not a laughing matter when it came to these hypotheticals. Like he really did what he could. Like this saying right now, he had an intent to gain power at the same time. So what was the best way to manipulate religion, create a new history, and give us something that Constantine. Let's see if I can find it. The life and times of Constantine the Great. So this is the book here, just to show you real quick. Let me go back here. Here it goes, right here. Let me show you. So this is the book, right? The life and times of Constantine the Great. In this page here, 152, it talks about a particular. Hold on, I don't want to bring this up right now. I think this page here. Here goes right here. It says here that in spite of his strong attachments to the Christian religion, Constantine did not forcibly eradicate the old gods. Although Eusebius, which is mentioning in his page, in his life of Constantine, writes that he alone brought down every multitude god error. He dutifully quotes in full text of an edict addressed to the governors of the East, in which Constantine clearly reaffirms the principle of religious freedom that he had first said in Milan. Let no one interfere with another. Each should do what his soul wishes. So that's really what he really believed in, bro. Still responding to the teachings of church sexuality laxity, he closed some temples of Aphrodite or Venus because of reports that acts of sexual depravity were committed behind their walls. It says, nevertheless, throughout the region, Constantine never forgot that the majority of his subjects were still pagan and was careful not to press them too hard and push them more fanatical among them to act of despair. He knew well that with the imperial favor withdrawn from old religion, the vine would soon or later wither. So like he really planned this out, and like this is saying right here. It says here, as far as the Bible geography is concerned, it appears that the main person responsible for its misinterpretation was Constantine the Great. We're talking about 300, 400 AD, correct, bro?
Correct.
Right, who had definite motives by transferring the arena of Jewish history to that of Christ to another region altogether. It says, he used Christianity as a valuable political asset, selected the East as its empire, and with the aid of Eusebius, Jerome, and others, invented the present Palestine. I cannot explore this very important and fascinating theme now, but hope to undertake it in the not very distant future. In a life of that remarkable monarch who was born in York in the Badern, I believe. If this be correct, the present day Jews who make a historical claim to Palestine are utterly wide of the mark. This is fucked up. It's like, y'all miss, bro. Are you serious? You can't even get that right. Shit. Just the highlighted part?
No, you can read from the top.
Okay, cool. It says geography and all the history of tradition attached to it. Sky high. Ignatius Donani, in his work Atlantis, said truly that the history of Atlantis is the key to Greek mythology, as indeed is the case. Yet that mythology all points unhesitatingly to the earliest civilizations as occurring in the Atlantic regions, and not at all in the Mediterranean or in Asia Minor. Above all, the history of the Old Testament is the history of Atlantis. So, is all the history really made up recently? Like, is that what they're really saying? Sounds like it to me, right?
Right.
Wow. All right, let's keep going.
So now let's go start learning about, where according to these Greek mythology, where is Atlantis, right? Because they're saying that ties up with the Old Testament, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is the old world, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now we're going to get to a history that they don't tell us in school, right?
It says a history they didn't tell you in school. In circa 100 BC, Diodorus Siculus, I'm familiar with him, of Rome, talked with Phoenicians of Carthage and learned about America, calling it the land of the gods.
Now, let's go read from this book right here, right? It's called what?
Homer's Odyssey, America's discovery by the ancient Greeks. This is Diodorus Siculus scribe in the enclosed section says, far out off the African coast, there is an island remarkable for its size, which, as it lies in the ocean to the west, has a distance equal to a trip of some days from Libya. And generally speaking, this land has such a mild climate that most of the years produces a lot of fruit from the trees and other seasonal fruits. Therefore, with its excessive wealth, it looks like it's been created from the very beginning as the abode of gods, so to speak, and not humans. Book 5, I believe, 19.
So where is this place claiming? It says far off Africa, right? Off the coast of Africa. So what land could it be possibly talking about?
Oh, it's a matter of fact, I pulled up the link that he specifically referenced the lands over here. And, he confirmed there were people here too. It wasn't empty land. It says here, the Phoenician tradition, Diodorus Siculus, who flourished 3/4 of a century before the Christian era, furnished a somewhat detailed account of a great island in the Atlantic Ocean west of Africa. In the second chapter of the 5th book of his historical library, he says that opposite of Africa lies a very great island in the vast ocean of many days, sailed from Libya westward, which was known for a long time because of its remote situation, that it was finally discovered accidentally by some Phoenicians sailing along the west coast of Africa, who were prevented from landing and driven far to the west by violent storms, that they found a new country rich in fauna and flora and in everything suitable to the wants of man. Let's say Atlantis found in 1492. To the editor of the Evening World. So this is like a newsletter, right? This is where it's coming from, like a newsletter. Okay. So I read with much interest the article on the lost continent of Atlantis. This and numerous others about Atlantis only serve to fix more firmly, in my opinion, the idea that the continent, supposed by the ancients to exist beyond the Pillars of Hercules, that's between North Africa and South Spain, okay, fam? That's what it's talking about. Was found by Columbus in 1492. Columbus, instead of discovering a new route to India, found Atlantis instead. Were not the Aztecs, the Incas, Toltecs highly cultured in their way?
So according to this article, what did Columbus find?
He found, instead of discovering a new route to India, he found Atlantis instead. Let me see, Paul Olson, The Kingdom of Science, Literary Utopianism and British Education, between 1612 and 1670, right? It says here, each nation, including the Indians of Atlantis, visited every other. The Western Hemisphere Indians once had a high culture. They are primitive only in consequence.
No. Start from the top again.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I might. It says, world by ships flourished as in the Renaissance Europe. Each nation, including the Indians of Atlantis, visited.
Wait. So according to that book, now, how many sources have we already brought out?
4 or 5 so far.
So according to this source, what is it just called, the Indians?
Of Atlantis.
Damn. So why is it that all these sources claiming that this is the ancient world? Keep reading.
Yeah, visited every other. The Western Hemisphere Indians once had a high culture, and they are primitive only in consequence of their great wars and the subsequent flood that took away their culture, forcing them to make the simplest of adaptations to nature. The governor of New Atlantis argues. The governor of New Atlantis argues that the representation of Atlantis in Plato, Critias, as planted, quote unquote, by the descendants of Neptune, and having a temple, palace, city, and hill with many goodly navigable rivers, surrounding the Escalia Coeli of the site of all poetical and fabulous. But a real Atlantis existed, Great Atlantis, powerful before Bel Salem became important. The real, quote unquote, Atlantis that you call America, right? According to Bacon's myth, so this is Francis Bacon, right? Both of the parts of the real Atlantis chose to launch important military expeditions at the same time. And this goes back to the whole, Freemasonry, because Francis Bacon was one of them. And they make this a very important part of their doctrine. Like, this is a part of their doctrine, that this is Atlantis. That's what they really, firmly believe in that. They may not say it. It says, the Journal of the 2-Month Tour in America. Who is this from? The Journal of 2-Month Tour is a book by Reverend Charles Beatty about his 1767 journey west of the Allegheny Mountains to promote religion among the frontier settlers and Native Americans. This is the Algonquian, that region as well? Is that what we're talking about?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, I'm following. Then it says here, beloved men, they that have it handed down from their ancestors, that the book, I remember reading this, bro. I was looking for this, man. This is important. So pay attention, family, what they're going to say to you guys here, okay? Hold on, let me close this up. I don't need this open anymore. It says here that the book which the white people have, meaning the Bible, was once theirs, that while they had it, they prospered exceedingly, but that the white people bought it out of them and learned many things from it. And while the Indians lost credit, offended the Great Spirit, and suffered exceedingly from the neighboring nations, that the Great Spirit took pity on them and directed them to this country, that on their way they came to a great river which they could not pass. It says, where God dried up the waters and they passed over dry shod. They also say, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, now again, brothers and sisters, this is what I was a perfect example about talking about how I'm tying things back up. Because earlier, the very first video, what did I show? I showed a video of a native telling the Sakari camp that the Bible was what? A stolen book and things of that nature. Just like this source just clearly just said it, that the book was once ours and that these people took it from us.
And matter of fact, I have I can't find it, to be honest, bro. That's why I'm glad you brought this up, because I do have a book that they actually did say that.
Right here, brother. Here's the book. Here's brother. Here's a second source. Second source right here, brother. I got you.
Okay. Okay. Maybe this is it. All right. Can you make that a little bigger just so I can read it? Maybe I'll do it here. Hold on. Let me do it on my end. Yeah. Okay. That's a little better. All right. It says, The 10 Tribes of Israel by Timothy Jenkins. It says, it is among their principal and beloved men that they have it passed down from their ancestors. This may be it. That book which the white people have was once theirs, that while they had it, they prospered exceedingly, but that the white man bought it out of them, and learned many things from it, while the Indians lost their credit, offended the Great Spirit, and suffered exceedingly from their neighbors. They also say that forefathers were possessed of an extraordinary divine spirit by which they foretold future events and controlled the common course of nature, and this they transmitted to their offsprings on condition of their obeying the sacred laws. That's nice. That they did by these means bring showers of plenty on the dear people, but that this power for a long time past had entirely ceased. Wow. Is America the promised land or Egypt? It says, social occasions is vital to the understanding of how people come to their interpretation and appropriation of the Bible and its stories. One of the most popular biblical stories people have historically personalized has been the story of Exodus. This is good. It says, America's earliest European settlers understood America as the promised land they were entering after fleeing Egypt, since in this telling of the story, they were the new nation of Israel. They were given divine license to commit genocide of the native peoples. The new Canaanites, I see, that were already living there. Here, the land was theirs for their taking because God had given it to them in advance. Of course, the native people already living here. That had they. So this is what the Europeans believe.
It is crazy. It is crazy, like you said, how they viewed it not only just as the promised land, but they used it to justify how they took over the natives, claiming that we are the Canaanites, that this land it belonged to us and actually belonged to them. But they still, agree that this is the promised land, right?
Right. It says, opinion, is America the promised land for Jews? It says, it's time to say that America is a better place to be a Jew than Jerusalem. Ah, okay. If ever there was a promised land, we Jewish Americans are living in it. Here, Jews have flourished, not alone in politics and the economy, but in matters of art, culture, and learning. Jews feel safe and secure here in ways that they do not and cannot in the state of Israel, and they have found an authentically Jewish voice, their own voice, for their vision of themselves, or for themselves. Fucking Kazars.
Even the Jews would be like, man, this has to be the promised land. It can't be over there. They bombing, they over there bugging out.
Constantine really pulled a fast one on them, bro. Because if you really think about it, man, it's remember I told you I was like, hey man, it's kind of hard to believe over there because it's not fruitful, bro. Like you see the pictures. I'm not even the one to have to. Come on, bro. Like you telling me that they can't grow some shit over there?
And look how far back this article goes back in the Washington Post. It goes back from 1987. Most of y'all probably weren't even alive when this post came out.
Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, now that we're on this topic, I'll share this page real quick. Oh, hold on. You're gonna show something else in the meantime?
No. Go ahead.
Okay. I'll share this. No, I'll just real quick. I'll share it because again, you know how they're brought on these statements like us Jews and it's better for us here, correct? They got representation. You know what I mean? They got politics. They got power, right? We all know that. So one thing that I do know about people and nations is they're very boastful, right? They like to show off, and they always want to remind themselves of certain things in case their children forget. So this is a book by Max Demont, one of their famous writers, unquestionably the best popular history of the Jews written in the English language. Okay, so this is an important book to them. And I'm going to share to you why they think it's important. And make sure, family, that when you read statements like so, you really have to really take their word for it, okay? So let me switch it real quick. Sorry, hold on. This is the book I'm talking about, okay? Max Demont, Jews, God, and History, okay? Right? So, again, they will never want to forget. They need to remind themselves. But check this out. It says on page 371, it says, as a footnote to history, do you understand that? As a footnote to history, we must record the fact that the Indians on the Caribbean island where the flotilla first landed were greeted in Hebrew and Arabic by one Luis de Torres, a Jewish interpreter aboard the flagship. For Columbus was certain that the natives spoke either Hebrew or Arabic. Now, then it says it was de Torres, who was a translator, incidentally, who discovered maize and brought it to Europe. So going back to two things here that you mentioned, right? First of all, what they're stating. Secondly, actually three, what they're saying, that they don't even like Palestine. Constantine must have used that to benefit his attempt to rule, right? Rechange history, because it's not like it's new. And then on top of that, they also made it clear as a footnote to history. Don't forget that when we showed up here, we had to talk to you guys like in that language. That's heavy, bro. All right, we got at Job 28 and 19.
Yep.
Okay, it says Job 28, 19 through 20. It says the topaz of Cush shall not equal it, neither shall it be valued with pure gold. Whence then cometh wisdom, and where is the place of understanding?
Now,
the topaz of
again,
Cush.
earlier, remember we brought up that source when it was talking about Foot and Ethiopia being in the same land, right?
Yeah.
In basically South America.
Right.
Remember that source? It said South America, correct?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Now, it just said that Topaz is known for his Kush, right? Or Kush is known for his to have his Topaz, right?
Right. It says Ethiopia is mainly known for its opals, or opals, which are primarily mined around the town Wegeltina in the northeast of country. Only a few years ago, deposits of high-quality emerald were discovered in the Cebu Borough district in the south of the East African country.
So why isn't it says that Ethiopia is known for its opals? Why doesn't it say for its topaz?
Yeah, it's true that. Because it says in the scriptures on Job, right?
Exactly.
Topaz is most commonly found in Brazil. Come on, shoot that shit, bro. What's wrong with you? There you go. All right. So it says here, topaz. Here, let's bring that here. Let me get the scripture real quick. What is it, Job? What? I'm just for me, just for my sake, so I can while we see this, then I'll read it. Job 28. Okay, you're good. You're good. Go for it. Go back to that one. Oh, it says topaz is most commonly found in Brazil. Okay, unlike the previous picture the brother just showed, Ethiopia is not known for topaz, right? It's
exactly
Brazil is known for topaz, particularly in the state of Minas Gerais, which is the world's leading producer. Shit. Other significant locations include Russia, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka, as well as several states in the United States like Utah, California, and Colorado. So even, just by even naming the Americas, by far more. By far more, basically.
Exactly.
Now here's the interesting part. Again, just real quick on Job 28:19, it says, the topaz of Ethiopia shall not equal it, neither shall it be valued with pure gold. So it's saying like that Ethiopia should have like a massive amount of these things, right?
Exactly. That's what it's known for. Exactly.
Right. Easy. Interesting, bro. Okay, let's go. Brazil produces a significantly greater percentage of the world's topaz than Ethiopia. You hear that, family? Once again, Job talks about this. The topaz of Ethiopia shall not equal it. Okay? It says, while Brazil is the global leader in a major historic source, Ethiopia's topaz production is minimal and primarily done by artisanal miners. So somebody's lying, bro. Somebody's lying, dude. It's a natural bitumen. And you know what? That's another thing. Bitumen. I think bitumen, that's how you say it, right? Natural bitumen and minerals tar are not native to Ethiopia, but the country does have significant oil shale deposits. The material that the country uses for road constructions are imported. Bitumen is in the Bible. Go ahead.
No, go read it.
It says fossiler forest tar pits around the world. Ah, shit, bro. We blow them apart.
You see where it says like it has like the little pitch with the thing, right? The little purple is letting you know that all the tar pits or whatever you want to say around the world was located at, right?
Over here, yeah.
Look where it's located over there. Are there any tar pits or anything located anywhere near Egypt?
Nah, not even close to Syria or Iraq, dude. That's up in Turkey. Like what is it? Caucasus Mountain, close to that shit.
Look at the Americas.
I mean,
I would say 90% of all these tar pits exist over here in the Americas.
So again, Job 28:19, the topaz of Ethiopia shall not equal it, neither shall the value of the pure gold. So far, there's hardly anything over there that way. Let's see, what do we got? What do you want me to read? 2 Samuel 5:23.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I want to get more into the language.
There's no Salt Lakes, but no true one.
I think it's maybe this one.
Samuel 2:523.
Here we go. We're going to talk about some language, about how the similarities of the language. And the reason I'm bringing this up is now it's going to start tying into the last video of the night that I'm going to share to you about the Navajo elder and how I told you that's the longest video. It's about a 15-minute video. We'll probably watch like 10 minutes of it. But but this is where we're going to start tying in how many of the languages tie into like Phoenician languages and even Egyptian languages, or what you call broken Egyptian language.
It says America, BC, ancient settlers in the New World, Dr. Ferry Bell, pages 253 to 258. At first glance, I perceived that about half at least of the hieroglyphic signs were remarkably similar to Egyptian hieroglyphs, as rendered in the simpler cursive form called hieratic, I think.
Yeah.
All right.
So right here, you see this guy comparing the language and how he's comparing it to how it's very similar to what you call Egyptian hieroglyphs, right?
Right. It is evident that the Mi'kmaq hieroglyphs must already have been transmitted to the North America more than 2,000 years ago, when they were still in use in Egypt. That's hold on. Let me remember. So let me read it again. It is evident that the Mi'kmaq hieroglyphs must already have been transmitted to North America more than 2,000 years ago, when they were still in use in Egypt. So it's saying that it predates it, correct?
Or yes, or that it was in use over here at the same time in Egypt.
Okay, all right,
right.
I got you.
So again, now again, what's very important about what this is stating is exactly what the native sister is going to start talking about after she talks about Christ. She's then going to start talking about how her and her family visited the Mi'kmaq tribe. You know what I'm saying? What you see right here, the Mi'kmaq, right? And their hieroglyphic. She's even going to tell you how their language is a broken down Egyptian hieroglyphic language.
Hold on, let me just, the brother said something, because they must be saying something between themselves. It says, yeah, it's the Daily Dose says, yeah, but the issue here is that these nations are claiming to be us and that the land was stolen by us from the Africans. And just to kind of let you know, Daily Dose, if you look at it from what the brother's overall stating, they don't even really come into the picture. Like, I think you're making that clear, right? Like this African concept here, that's not even being referenced at this moment, correct?
Yeah, we're not even talking about Africa.
Right. Because I think the brothers, and again, I like to pay attention, listen, so I can study it myself and process it. But I think I'm seeing what you're seeing. You know what I mean? Because it's not clear for everybody. But you can see, you have the vision, you can see what you're doing when you're putting these puzzles together. Right? So I'm starting to kind of see what you're referencing, especially when you mentioned Romans and Greeks. They didn't even fucking know about anything like that. They never wrote about that shit. Like, so how new are they? Right? And then when you're talking about how, the Maya going over there, the Egyptians, and you emphasize that those people don't even look like the rest of the Africans. So this is what the brother's also making sense too. He's separating that in its own way as well. All right. So just go ahead, keep going, bro. I just wanted to answer the brother.
Yeah. So so what we just read, talks about how the Mi'kmaq language is basically like an Egyptian hieroglyphic language. This right here is a guy named Brian Stubbs. You can see the
yeah.
Okay. Now he's Eastern language. He's from Eastern Utah. He's basically a linguistic scholar, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if you can read this. Okay, there we go.
It says there, exploring the explanatory power of Semitic and Egyptian in the Utah Aztecan. Published by Grover Publishing, this book is solid and full of technical details a trained linguistic can really sink their teeth in. Brian Stubb has toiled for decades as one of the foremost Uto-Aztecan linguists in the planet. Many thought his highly acclaimed 211 Uto-Aztecan, a comparative vocabulary, would be his magnum opus. Turns out it was only Stubbs' warm-up act. All these years, he has been patiently gathering massive data that shows profound Semitic and Egyptian influence in the language family spoken by the Utes and the Shoshini on the north, Nahuatl on the south, and Hopi in between. So he's saying that he's found a connection within the linguistic, field, the similarities between the Semitic, Egyptian, but that includes the Utes, Shoshinis, Nahuatl, and also the Hopis, correct?
Correct. There's Semitic and Egyptian influences in their language.
Right. So this is a revolutionary paradigm changing book. This is a highly recommended book for serious students of the Native American culture. Yeah. That's pretty heavy. Go ahead.
Yeah.
He's the one you're going to show the video?
No.
Okay,
I was just showing you how, different languages, and the reason why I was showing you, because remember I said the Mi'kmaq is a tribe that's located above New York, almost by Canada, right? And they have like broken Egyptian language. Notice Brian Stubbs is talking about Aztecan, right? Where's that location? That's in like Mesoamerica. That's completely how far is that from the Mi'kmaq? You would have to say very far, right?
Yeah.
But yet we're seeing similarity in their languages, which is Shemitic or Egyptian.
Yeah, all up north and south.
Exactly.
You want me to read this?
So now let's go watch this last video. I'm done. Right. I was going to start playing the last video.
Let's do it. By the way, how much time do you have, bro?
Bro, I'm chilling.
All right. Let's see what time. We got about 2.5. It's 8:00 my time. You want to say run it about another hour and a half? You think that's good?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. And then we'll go from there. Now, oh wait, I lost the link. Well, that was you, right? Okay, here it goes. Sorry, my bad. That's right. You switched it. Okay.
You can see it?
Yeah, we can see it. Go for it.
Stories. I mean, there were oral histories, and they would remember because I was non-minstrel, was to the hilt, obedient and incredible, and very, very wise. And so he went in the Hogan with 12 men, and they would first cleanse themselves, go to a trache, the sweat lodge, fasting.
I can turn your wildest ideas into a song. Describe it in a few words. Choose a style. Let Mareka V 8 hand rest.
They would cleanse themselves, then they'd clean up and come into the Hogan, and all 12 of them would sit around in the Hogan. And again, I was behind Grandpa. I told you I was always behind him. And I was allowed there, remember, because I was non-minstrel. And so, and I was a little child.
Pause it real quick. Pause it.
Well, when they were there were stories.
Yo, hey, did you guys catch what she said? Just in case your sisters don't understand. She was allowed in this room because she wasn't going through her menstrual cycle. That's biblical right there, bro. You get what I mean? Now that's heavy duty shit right there, bro. Like she literally understood. Oh my God, man. Okay, let's keep going, bro. This is good.
I mean, there were oral histories, and they would bring out their what you would call their seer stones. When they would sit in a circle, they all had a seer stone. Now, this is a big fat one. This is not a seer stone, but it was a rock that sometimes was, but it was round. And they would hold it in their hand. and they would see things in there, and they would share their history of the people there and everyone took turns in the room. And the things that they would speak about, and what I learned from these men, is that they would talk about the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. They would tell the specifics, and then they would say the prayer, and it was so profound, and I would end up crying because it was absolutely beautiful to listen to the crucifixion and the song and the prayer. Then added to that, they would talk about how our people came here. And some of the things that I wrote down was that my grandfather said we came from the east, and that eventually that Christ, after he was crucified, that he walked among the people. And I did say to you before, when we would be riding on a wagon and going through Chaco Canyon, he would slow down and stop and tell my Biji and me and those in the wagon, and he said that Christ walked here, that he blessed the people, he taught them, he healed them, and he blessed them. And he would tell them when he was ready to leave, and they were so sad, and he taught them the herbs, how to heal and heal themselves, you know, and to bless one another, and he left with them all of the things that he did for them so that they could do for themselves. And anyways, and then you would carry on, and he would just continue to expound upon that. And I didn't really understand, but I came to know how true that was. When Christ would leave, and he appeared to other tribes, and then he would come again, and he would bless them again. And so it was an incredible experience that as I was at the feet of my grandfather and these 12 men, how they expounded upon the oral histories that they knew, that I knew, that meant everything to them. And it was their foundation, and they wanted to be sure to carry it on. And few Dene people know these things. And the argument is always, well, you know, the white people brought us Christianity. It is not, well, they brought it later, but we as Native Americans and my people as the Dene people, they walked and talked with Christ long before the pilgrims came. They knew him, and he walked around among them. When you think,
you hear that claim, brother?
Yeah, that's heavy, bro.
She said way before the pilgrims came.
I have a book that says that Jesus came to America, and it talks about a lot of similar things that what she's mentioning. As a matter of fact, I was even looking for the page here, and that's why I'm kind of doing a little bit more homework on it because I wanted to talk about it. The word mexicana. If you divide the word meshi and then kana is kind of like humble, right? Like humility. There's a different definitions on it, but it's like submissive or humble, right? So if you put together the two words, it's like humbly anointed. If you put mexicana, right? Humbly anointed. In this book here too, also that, here, let me just show you real quick. This one, the one I was referencing, it actually says, and I'm looking for the page because it talks about the book called Teomotzli, right? And it's actually what it means is the divine book of Moses. And in this book, you find how our people had these scrolls, old, carrying them in like some type of ark, right? And it was important to our people to keep that knowledge and understanding. But they called it Teomotzli, the divine book of Moses. There you go. I'll keep looking for it. Go ahead, man. I just wanted to say that.
All right.
Think about the drawing on that these men had. And then think about what my grandfather and the 12 men spoke about. And they, my grandfather said that they built a ship and they came across the great waters and it was tumultuous. And they came here to this land. They were in the east. And there was millions, eventually, of millions and millions of Native Americans that were just covered this land. And when they would fight, they'd have heaps of dead people. I mean, could be 50,000, 60,000 of them killing each other. But as the fighting continued and it became really bad, the people broke into tribes and they went in many different directions.
You know what's funny about what she's discussing right now?
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like the belief of Mormonism. You know, if you ever read the Book of Mormonism, that's basically what it's talking about basically wars between the Northern Kingdom tribes when they came over here to this promised land. If you really think about it. Now, she's not a Mormon. For anybody, who wants to say, oh, well, she's just a Christian. No, she's not even a Christian. She's a native sister who has her own channel. She has hundreds of videos, this lady, right?
Yeah.
It's just that in this specific video, she was asked a question. Someone asked her a question about, have you ever heard of the theory that natives are Hebrews or stuff like that? And now she's just made this video discussing that. Okay? So she's not even a Christian or any of this stuff. She's just sharing about what she was taught.
Right. Connecting the dots, basically, like, hey, I remember I went through this. Like, just basically, that's how it all starts. Like you experience something, then you read about it, then later on you're like, wait a minute, I remember hearing about that story. Yeah, that's right. I was this old, and my father. That's what she was talking about. Because she even said, like you don't just say, oh, in my menstrual. By the way, like it was just like a normal day, and she happened to she happened to be clean, not unclean, and she could be around the elders, and she heard the story. Pretty standard.
Facts. Let me keep playing.
Yep, go for it.
Went south. Grandpa says we came. Our oral history is that we came south, along probably kind of like Tennessee or could be, I don't know. That just in my mind, I'm thinking, and they came, could have been through Georgia or by Florida, and then came because they said it was warm, and then they came and across and ended up in the Southwest, and they longed for home across the big waters. They longed for that home, and sometimes I would see these men weep because they said that's where our umbilical cords were buried there. Our ancestors' umbilical cords were buried there. But then again, they say, we came to this place where the 4 sacred mountains are. Now, our children, our posterity's umbilical cords are buried here. And this is always going to be a place that our hearts yearn for, and this is a sacred place for us. So that was kind of, that was the teachings that I received. Now, Grandpa and I have, we've done genealogy research and visited the Micmac tribe in Maine.
Commercial.
Yeah, now she's going to be discussing the Micmac tribe. Remember, it's going to tie into what we were talking about the Micmac earlier.
Right.
I can't explain and have you feel unless you were there. how amazing it was to go in and meet the Micmac and to have one of the tribal members take us to the museum. And the things we saw there were memorable and actually a testimony of and supported everything my grandfather and these 12 men spoke about. They talk about their history as these turtle boats. Now the turtle boats that they referred to were like this and conal shape, and they came across the great waters in that, and they ended up in the shores and came down the St. Lawrence River. And they tell you this. And then they get to the St. Lawrence River and they disperse from there, and these people moved. They went up and they moved north. Now, as you know, the Micmacs went north and they cover all of the different islands north, Nova Scotia, etc. They talked about, and these were, they call them turtle boats. I told you, the little turtle boats. And there was an incredible amount in what we know and understand that that came. So once they made their home in Maine, you look at their, let's go with their language. Now, I don't know if you know what Reformed Egyptian is, but I will call it Reformed Egyptian. Some people laugh at that, but it is. And it was their written language that they brought with them, and they were still, to this day, they use it. The hieroglyphics that they use, the writings.
You heard what she just called it, brother?
Yeah, the hieroglyphics, yeah.
She said reformed Egyptian. That's what she would call it. People will laugh at it, but that's basically what it is reformed Egyptian.
Wow.
They still use it today. Crazy.
The words they use. And they call this sometimes the Adamic language. And it's incredible.
You heard what he said? They call this the Algonquin language. Hold on. You mean the same Algonquin language that the first Bible that was published on U.S. soil, in the U.S. soil was written in?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Let me share this with you real quick, so you can, because it's kind of going to tie into what she's saying. Okay, this is interesting. This is again from the Barbara Simmons. It says the world had been subsequently peopled by 3 names not mentioned. So they're saying that they couldn't mention, they didn't have the names. So they, meaning the indigenous people here, the tribes were descendant from or of the race of Quetzalcoatl, which is what she's saying. The Messiah came and talked to the people, right? And for this reason, they hold lineage in great account. And wherever they chanced to be, they said, "I am of such lineage," right? That's important. And that's why, brothers and sisters, you guys got to understand that you can't just kind of mince your way through this shit. You got to grab it by the horns, bro. You know what I'm saying? There's too much information. Regardless of whether you want to say this is old or new, regardless of where you sit, this history applies to our people. That's without a doubt, right? Now check this out on the bottom. It says here too. It says that the learned Arias Montanos was convinced that the primitive people of the Western Hemisphere were of the race of Shem. It is not surprising that Sigüenza, who in knowing only the religion of Spanish ecclesiastics, might have been led to suppose his people of the race of Cam. You remember how you mentioned some of that too, right? His reason for this opinion, we are informed of Claveguero, was the similarity which he found between their pyramidal monuments, which you put examples on, and the appellative Teot, which has thought bore a strong affinity to the Egyptian Theoth. You see that? Theoth, right? The commentator on the Antiquity of Mexican observed the learned Sigüenza, conversant with the drawings of his people, believed that they had arrived in the western continent soon after the dispersion of Babel. That's his understanding. But if, as we suppose, they were of the race of Cam, why did they not observe the Egyptian mods of idolatry. How came they to know the knowledge of the Hebrew rituals, right? So the Egyptian pyramids were placed of sepulchres, whereas those of the Indians were neither hollow or subterraneous. Let's see. Hold on. Let me give you one more point real quick. Let's see. This is another one regarding the ruach, the meaning of it. Let's see the consideration, the calendar. Hold on. Let me see this real quick. Hold on. Let me just show you this real quick. This is the page that I was looking for. Right here. So on page 158, it actually says that we are naturally disposed to inquire that what was the Theomoshli, the divine book which contained the history, mythology, calendar, and laws of the Toltecas, right? The word is compounded of Theo, divine, Amit, papyrus, and mostly, for in the Mexican language, Y and X frequently supply the place of the S. So she, right? Mostly. So the TL is like a, right? So it's a tli, it's devoid of meaning, but in general termination. It says mostly, then appears to be Moses, when the sentence would be divine book of Moses, right? So again, what the other book that you showed, that this book was ours once, and that these people came, took it, and now it is what it is. All right, let me go back to your video. All right, go for it, bro.
Now remember, she just said, the Algonquin language, right? Now, remember, she said that when she met the Micmac, they had basically the same stories that the 12 men in her tribe were talking about Christ and things of that nature, and how the people came on turtle boats. She's about to talk about how they even wore like these priestly garments and stuff like that. But again, what did the brother from the Sakari told the guy from in that Sakari video, right?
Yep.
He was from the Mishmac tribe, which is again, that's around like Massachusetts, which is under New York. And you can see that in these territories, these people that spoke this Algonquin language all had ties to Christ in the Bible.
Right. It's still paused, though.
To hear.
What happened?
I think you lost the link.
All right. Hold on.
Yeah. You looking for it? Did you send it already or no? No, I don't have it yet. Are you looking for the link?
Yeah, I lost it. Hold on.
Check out history. Should be in your history. Most recent one. Hey, while you're looking for that daily dose, and you know what? The hate's going to continue because as closer as we get, the more pressure their spirit's going to feel. Remember, they had the upper hand spiritually speaking, bro, at one point. They were very boastful, bro. Even the Europeans were very boastful. And now that our people are starting to at least have the privilege to read, right? It's not an obligation. Okay, hold on. I think I lost you, brother. It's not an obligation. Right now is the perfect time to have more hate. That's why that other dude that showed up, he says his hair in his hair is white like wool, blah 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 blah. And he posted what was that scripture? Revelation 1:14. Typical stuff. And then what happens when you don't agree with him? Oh, you fucking spics. Like, what are you gonna do, bro? You know what I mean? How are you gonna argue with stupidity like that? Déjalos, bro. Let it brush off your shoulders. At this point, there is no need to convince these other nations, bro. It's time for our people to really pay attention now. Go for it, dude. There you go. All right, I got you. Go for it. Do you want me to find it? Let me see if I can get it for you. Navajo grandma.
Do you see it on
Lost
screen?
Hebrew. Yeah. Colonization beliefs. Here, let me see if I can put it up for you. It's pausing on you, huh? Okay, where are you at exactly? What time is it at? What's the clock? 15:18. I got you. 15:18. Right there. Okay. Let me put it up here real quick. Ready? You want me to pause it in a minute, or you let me know, okay? But so
Once they made their home in Maine, you look at their, let's go with their language. Now, I don't know if you know what Reformed Egyptian is, but I will call it Reformed Egyptian. Some people laugh at that, but it is. And it was their written language that they brought with them, and they were still, to this day, they use it. The hieroglyphics that they use, the writings, the words they use. And they call this sometimes the Adamic language. And it's incredible to hear. The people, their dress.
I think she said Adamic language. Did she say Adamic or the other one?
No, she said Algonquin.
Let me see. I mean, either way, I'm still amazed by the that she says it Reformed Egyptian. You see, like, for example, if I saw this video, right, without listening to what you just shared with us, right, and I would hear that, I'm like, whatever. But when you're bringing examples of why she's saying that, then it actually makes more sense. You get what I'm saying? Like, why her parents actually said stuff like that. Okay, so let's go.
And they call this sometimes the Adamic language. And it's incredible to hear. The people, their dress, in their clothing, they have like a vest, but they have their prayer cloth underneath with the tassels. They wear that always. And then you see them when they go to the door, there's holes in the doors, and that's where they have their he says they use papyrus. They fashion the bark, and they have their prayers, their sacred prayers, and they're on both sides of the doors. And when they go there, they repeat it, and they live by that. It was like almost, I thought, gee whiz, I didn't know the Jewish culture. And of course we started with Fiddler on the Roof, and you know what they were like, their prayers and the way they were, and it's so amazing because the Micmacs are similar in that. And they were very, very prayerful. I love these people. And so with that said, I mean, they continued, the whole museum was just mind-boggling. And how they came across, and the stories, they so related to what my grandfather had spoken. They talk about the wars and the things that happen and who they look forward to seeing again. It's incredible.
Family, I think I lost the brother. The line. I don't know if it's our link. Let me try to see if I can get another one here. Give me a second. Hopefully it's that. Because hopefully what the hell is going on now? Are you serious? No way, dude. No way, bro. Are you serious? Huh. That's weird. Hopefully I didn't lose him permanently, man. Let's see. Let me keep playing it. Play a couple minutes, or at least a minute, see if the brother comes back. I just text him right now. I don't know if it's the link linked him off. Let me see. Try this link, dude. Try this link. If you can't jump on, let me know. All right, we're trying to see if we can get him back on. I keep saying I'm gonna end up using another type of stream because apparently this one does knock people off, bro. I don't like that shit. Let me playing it, right? We're gonna let it run a minute. Let me see where the brother's at.
So when you put all this together, you realize that, see, here's the traditional.
And just real quick, that's true, and you shouldn't be amazed because again, she's also kind of getting into it just recent. Like it's not recent, but she's starting to touch on that, right? We all know the propaganda behind it. Matter of fact, my class that I'm gonna be doing, I'm gonna do it this week for sure. This one, we're gonna break it down. I'm gonna show you, brothers and sisters, who they are, their actual origin, their root, exactly to the T, with their sources, their books, they themselves admitting it. Because remember, ego will make you boast about your history. And also because you need to remind your people who you guys really are. You know what I'm saying? Well, sorry, who they are. Okay, let's go.
Here is what my oral history is. This is the teachings of my grandfather and these 12 men. And then we have the modern Dene people who haven't even asked. Most of them probably haven't even asked their grandparents. What is our tradition? Where did we come from? The only thing they will tell you is we came from Dog Oslid up there in Flagstaff, somewhere there. Then all of a sudden we're in Colorado. We came out of a hole there and it's sacred. See, my grandfather, that's why he never taught me the traditions. He said man can change traditions, but that's not the solid teachings that we know. And this oral history is solid. Our grandparents taught us generation to generation to generation. So many aspects of life that the history books can't tell that. But when you sit down and talk with a Native American,
Yo, can you hear us, bro? I think you're on mute. There you go. You there? Can you hear us?
Yeah, you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Perfect, dude. All right.
Right.
You want to continue playing it, or you want to say something before we continue? I know you were trying to jump back in on.
No, I'm good.
Okay, let's go.
you discover how critical and how amazing their story is. That it's not spewed all over. It's not taken for granted, but it's in here. And it's the whole spirit of this incredible oral history. And this is what I'm sharing with you. And again, these are the things that my grandfather taught me. I'm lightly telling you this, and I pray that you will respect this. We all have a story. We all have our oral history. Mine is the answers of where I came. And that is where I'm going to leave it. And again, I could go in depth, but I'm not.
You want me to pause it now? Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, you can end it.
Okay, cool. Let me go get here. Get out of here real quick. Bam. All right, so now there goes yours. All right, bro, go for it. I think that's your screen, right? It's just black screen right now. I don't know if you can. You can hear us, right, bro?
I hear.
No, I think you're good. I think you're good. This is your screen right now.
Hold on. Take that out. You can hear me better?
Yeah, you're good. Were you gonna show something?
Oh no, I'm so good.
Okay, cool. So let's see. We left off with Navajo. I think. Yep. What else do we got?
Yeah, you know the sister Lily shared our post. And look what I don't know if you know who Neftali is. Neftali Israel.
You talk about the phobia chick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
Okay.
What she wrote on the post stating she says
Well, it's backwards. You know how backwards. You know how we can see the opposite of it.
yeah, but you know she's basically saying, I'll just let you know just so everybody won't say that it's not her. It's Neftali right there on the top.
Yeah. What'd she say?
And she says, "Hey, Native Americans and Hispanics are the biblical Hamites. Let's debate it." And then she writes here in the down here on the second comment, she says, "Come home, people. Are there any debaters out there? Sign me up. Who are the historical Hamites?" She wants
She uses
some of that smoke.
She uses what's that religion? It's funny because her sources, and I remember listening to something. She was talking to somebody. I think no, not even them, bro. Some other group. I think it was like she was like against Egyptians or some shit. Or I don't remember exactly where she brought out a source, and that's where she gets the concept of Canaan. But it's from the white man. Like it's the sources from the gringo and shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like some Mormonism concept of them wanting us to be Canaanites because they consider this the promised land. It goes back to that same stupidity. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of silly, to be honest with you. As a matter of fact, she tried to send me a message one time on Facebook, bro. And they created this post, that thumbnail, like she wanted to debate me and shit. This was like in June of 2025, right? For the debate in December, in December of 2025. So I was like, first of all, like 6 months from now, and I'm like, you know what? Do me a favor. Why don't you get your leader first? You know, the thin lip dude, the thin lip tan white boy and shit. Let me destroy his ass first, and then I'll deal with you after. It's just funny to me, man. I don't even know why. To be honest, bro, like it's not the same dealing with a woman because you know you. It's like me, man. The way that I talk, bro, trust and believe, they're gonna be all like, "Oh, you're too aggressive. You should respect the lady." Like, I don't need that shit. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, and that's all. I don't want no smoke.
Nah, dog. The surprising part is that she's got dudes that are actually like and re-emphasize like I don't know how to wrap my mind around that, bro. I don't let a woman speak for me. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just don't see that. I don't know why her leaders are like, yeah, go get him.
Yeah.
Really?
Using a female, exactly.
You're using a female to defend your fucking cause, homie? Like, for real? You guys can't speak for yourselves? Are you that uncivilized? You can't control yourselves and shit? Is that what it is?
I literally saw the other day on JJ 7000, the elder Quanah from Fopi told some dude that he won't debate him unless he defeats Naphtali.
What kind of shit is that?
Exactly. That was.
I'll tell you what. You know what? Okay, fine. Then give him a brother. You know what I'm saying? Give him another man that he can talk to. I don't know why you're sending a female to you to do your confusing work. Because you know what? I remember sharing a video about her debating Sakari, I think, at one point, and they were asking her like simple, common sense questions, bro, and she was fumbling the stuff. Like, I think her excuse was like, "Oh, hold on a second, my son needs me," and like she would try to reset her mind and shit. Or like, "Oh, hold on a second, I needed to drink water." Because she don't even know how to, like, because she's just saying something like, if those people are those people, they're like, yeah, well, those are Canaanites because the Canaanites built pyramids, the Zergots and shit. I was like, and then I think they even said something to the effect of like, what do you call it? I don't know, bro. I just think she's confusing, to be honest with you, bro. I don't think she has a solid argument.
Exactly. And for because there's another brother named Aaron Yehudion who holds that same stance that many of the Mesoamericans were Hamites, and for people like that are trying to say those things, especially for Nathalie. So if I ever get her on a discussion, one of my questions is going to be, well, if you're saying that Native Americans are Hamites and you're a New Testament subscriber and Old Testament, so you mean that in the time of Moses and in the time of Christ, when the scripture says that they fled into Egypt, you're telling me that they fled to the Americas. That's what you're telling me?
Right.
So now we can use their arguments against them. You know how they like to say, well, other Black Hebrew Israelites, they'll say that, well, Moses blended in with the Egyptians, so he must have been black. Well, Christ must have been black because he went to Egypt.
Right.
Well, Nathalie, if you guys are claiming that the Native Americans are the Hamites, which would include the Egyptians, Libyans, Cushites, and things of that nature, then you would have to say that Moses and Christ went to dwell amongst people that look like Native Americans.
That argument in itself, in its own like self, it's confounding. You want to know why? Because weren't these Canaanites like fucking huge ass people? Right?
Not even that. It's, Deuteronomy, what is it? 7. It says that they were bigger and mightier, stronger and mightier than them. But I thought, wait a minute, I thought the African Americans are the ones dominating sports and all this jumping and running and strength on things.
Deuteronomy 4:38 says, to drive out nations from before thee, greater and mightier than thou art, to bring thee, to give thee their land for an inheritance as it is this day. So if you're calling these people Canaanites, then you should be like a fucking, like a little midget.
Oh, you mean like a grasshopper?
There you go. That's it. I think the one that you're talking about is Deuteronomy 7. Let's see. Hold on. Where is it at? Well, no, matter of fact, let me go back to Deuteronomy 38 because it even references here too that particular scripture. So if you go to Deuteronomy 7:1, it says, when the Lord thy God shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and have cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites, the Girgashites, the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. Bro, I've never seen a Mexican shack. Me personally, never have one. Never seen one. Deuteronomy 9 talks about it as well. Deuteronomy 11:23 says, then will the Lord drive out these nations from before you, and you shall possess greater nations and mightier than yourselves. Aren't they boastful about they're the fastest, strongest, tallest, most? I'm not saying it. They're saying it. So I don't even know where her argument is regarding Canaan. And you know what's so funny? I think she said that they were Canaanites, that our people were Canaanites because the idolatry, the sacrificing of people, right? And I think even Sakari did a very simple response, like, well, didn't Israel do the same shit? You get what I'm saying? So to me, I don't know. It's kind of funny and interesting and shit.
And not even that, to the Sister Nathalie, is like, well, if you're saying that the Native Americans or the Canaanites, when did you guys ever came over here and conquer the Americas to just like the biblical narrative talks about?
That's a good question. That's a good question. I don't really see it. I don't see it happening. What would you debate her, bro? Like you would?
Oh hell yeah!
How come she don't sign up for that shit then? She's on Facebook.
I know, that's what I'm saying. So I try to have her. I try to get her on Super Wavy. Wavy tried to have her try to come on. She didn't want no smoke.
See, so it's like, what do you ask? So you say she wants selective smoke. That's what it is, bro. But anyhow, so let me share. I mean, do you want anything? Do you want to share anything else?
No, I'm good.
Okay, so let me just kind of share a couple pages, and then we'll probably go another 15, and then we'll call it a night. Is that cool? All right. So let's see. We have here again the same book, and where is it at? Let me give you guys a good page. I've never shown this one to you guys. Okay, here it goes right here. Okay. Remember that name Wakanda?
Yeah.
Check it. Page 177. They are just honest, liberal, hospitable to strangers, affectionate to their wives, their children, and relations. This is talk about the natives here. Frugal, persevering, charitable, forbearing. It must be recollected that this testimony is given in Indians in their unsophisticated state before the corruption influence of the lower class of European immigrants had reached. You fucking. Anyways, check this out. They are, writer writes Major Long, of opinion that the Wakanda has been more profuse of his gifts. So, in case you guys don't know, and I did a class on this, Wakanda, right? Ethan Smith even mentions it. Matter of fact, they even a movie between Leonardo DiCaprio and what's this guy's name? The Italian actor Robert De Niro. He's a judge, or he's running a city. Secret Freemasons, right? Secret Freemasons. So these people are marrying into the women, the native women, right? They would marry, they would give the husbands alcohol, make them alcoholics, they die and shit, and then they would marry the women so they can keep the land, right? But in that movie, aside from this book, aside from Ethan Smith, Leonardo DiCaprio, as he's like talking about them, he's saying that they call their great god Wakanda. You know how that name was mentioned in the documents you brought out?
Yeah.
Right. So it even, and again, they use this name, but it don't even belong to them. So, for me, the more you dig, the more you peel back the onion, you'll find out that there's more to what we are seeing around us than to just simply ignore it. Like everything matters at this point, bro. And like she said, they're not going to teach us our history. Right? They're gonna teach us what they want to teach. I mean, you already saw the brother shared an example of what was that book again? The guy, the one with Constantine. Man, that shit was fire, bro. I'll have to go back and take a picture of that one.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Matter of fact, yeah. Let's finish it with that. Show that real quick before we finish. I think that's a great point to bring up again, bro.
All right.
So in case you guys missed the family, he showed a very good important source. I would advise you guys to write it down. Download it, get it, because what it's saying in there, I'm sure there's going to be more information a couple pages after, a couple pages before. Let me know when you're ready. Get this in session going already.
There you go.
All right. Yep. All right, here we go. All right, go for it. All right, so it says here, okay, so here's the book that I'm talking about that he mentions. Britain, the key to world history, right? Check this out, family. This part right here. What page is that? Do you know by any chance? Just curious.
It's on this page, 17.
17. Okay, perfect. It's on page 17. All right, we're gonna get a close-up, real quick summary. This right here, I mean, aside from a lot of stuff you brought out, but for me, this was the one that struck the most because we're talking about rewritten history, right? And this is where we're saying, okay, so if the milk and honey is over there, how come it don't look like it? You know what I'm saying? Right? So it says, as far as Bible geography is concerned, it appears that the main person responsible for its misinterpretation was Constantine the Great, right? Who had definite motives for transferring the arena of Jewish history, which also the Jewish matters here, and that of Christ to another region altogether. So basically he's saying, hey, this guy was a real definite reason that he had a definite motive by changing the history of the Hebrews, right? And separating the Christ concept also altogether. He used Christianity as a valuable political asset, selected the East as his empire, and with the aid of Eusebius, Jerome, and others, invented the present Palestine. I cannot explore this very important and fascinating theme now, but hope to undertake in it the most very distant future, in a life of that remarkable monarch who was born in York and Bedern. If this be correct, the present-day Jews who make a historical claim to Palestine are utterly wide of the mark. Now, when you read this right here, now you have to wonder. Again, the land of milk and honey. You brought out a lot of examples, basically like this. I mean, everything that the scriptures talk about. Like for example, corn is like a main one, bro. Like I can't get around the whole corn thing. You get what I mean? It's hard for me to get around the corn because like you can't find that shit anywhere else. And then let's see, other foods and whatever. Anyways, is that it? Is that another page? Oh, that's right. The U-Fast 2. Oh, that one too. Yep.
Trying to find it.
Okay, let me pause this real quick. Let me get this ready. It goes right here. All right. All right. What is that? Want me to read it? I think I can.
Yeah.
Let me see. It says here, every spring season, it says their feast of love. Every spring season, one town or more of the Mississippi Floridians keep a solemn feast of lore, I think, right? To renew their old friendship. They call this annual feast Hatak Amipa, Heitla Tana'a. This is the people east dance and walk as twin brothers. That is the people that, what does it say? This is the people cat dance and walk as twin brothers, right?
Yeah.
The short name of the feast is Hodib or something. I can't really read that.
Yeah, I can't really read it either.
That is eating by a strong religious and social principle, omnivorous significance, and informed several threads of strands twined together. They assemble 3 nights before the feast. On the 4th night, they eat together. During the intermediate space, the young men and women dance in circles from the evening till morning. When they meet at night, it is professed to the gladden and unite their hearts before Yohiwa. They sing Yao Hiwa Shu, Yao Hiwa Shu, or Yahiwa Shoi, Yao Hiwa Shu, Yao Hiwa Shu, Yao Hiwa, I can't read that, Yahiwa Shi, or Yahiwa Shai, Yahiwa Shai again, with great energy. The first
Now, the reason why I'm showing this, right, is because, you'll have Black Hebrew Israelites, when they hear Hispanics, they'll be like, "Yo, we are the ones that taught you guys these things and this that. The reason why you call on Yahweh Shai is because you learned from the black man." Well, no. When you look at words like Yahweh or the Wa, you actually get it from our language and the Shai. So when you talk about Yahweh Shai, you see that you get the Shai from us, not the other way around.
And remember the other one, the Great Migration, page 229, said that they never even knew how to pronounce his name until when? 1520 AD, after they came here. Well, that's
exactly,
bro. All right, so I think that's it, bro. Thank you. First of all, man, I want to appreciate you for making the time, dude. We don't get paid for this shit, so I appreciate you, bro. And for you brothers and sisters, if you don't know, do you still you don't do lives on, or you don't do recordings on your channel anymore, right?
No.
Okay. Do you have anything coming up? Any debates coming up soon that we should know about, so we can have let the brothers know here?
No, I don't have any debates coming up anytime soon.
Cool. Well, let us know, bro. Obviously we stay in touch. Other than that, do you want to share anything before you go to the fam?
Nah, I'm good. Just hope you brothers learned a lot of good things tonight. It was a pretty good build.
Yep. Yeah, but it's just the beginning, man. Again, there's a lot involved in this, and I'm sure you got much more material, but I saw a bunch of pictures there. You didn't even use any of that. You know what I mean? So it's we got to go another round. Other than that, all right, well, fam, I'm going to have a live hopefully this week coming up. We're going to get hard on that Khazar stuff. And I got some real heavy duty. Hopefully you guys can appreciate it. Other than that, brother, appreciate you, bro. Man, much blessings to you and your household, bro. Sincerely appreciate you. Other than that, man, that's pretty much it. We're going to finish it with one song and then we out.
All right, man. Shalom, brothers.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shalom, bro. Cuídense, cuídense. Good night, brothers. Hold on. Let me put this up here real quick. And then I'm out. All right. So anyways, by the way, next class is going to be this one. Okay. Just keep that in mind. And I'm going to try to do that this week. That's going to be heavy duty. All right. So good night, fam. See y'all later, man. Hopefully Wednesday.
Estamos aquí, oye, que estamos aquí. Mírame, estamos aquí. Desde hace rato, cuando ustedes llegaron, ya estaban las huellas de nuestros zapatos. Se robaron hasta la comida de gato y todavía se están lamiendo el plato. Bien encabronados con estos ingratos. Hoy le doy duro a los tambores hasta que me acusen de maltrato. Si no entiendes el dato, pues te lo tiro en cumbia, bossa nova, tango o vallenato. A lo Calaboy y bambú, bien frontú, con sangre caliente como Timbuktu. Estamos dentro del menú. Tupac se llama Tupac por Tupac Amaru del Perú. América no es solo USA, papá. Esto es desde Tierra del Fuego hasta Canadá. Hay que ser bien bruto, bien hueco. Es como decir que África es solo Marruecos. Estos canallas se les olvidó que el calendario que usan se lo inventaron los mayas con la Valdivia precolombina. Desde hace tiempo, este continente camina, pero ni con toda la marina pueden sacar de la vitrina la peste campesina. Esto va para el capataz de la empresa. El machete no es solo para cortar caña, también es para cortar cabeza.
Aquí estamos, siempre estamos, no nos fuimos, no nos vamos. Aquí machete te muerde. Si quieres mi machete te muerde. Si quieres mi machete te muerde. Si quieres mi machete te muerde. Te muerde, te muerde.
Los paramilitares, las guerrillas, los hijos del conflicto, las pandillas, las listas negras, los falsos positivos, los periodistas asesinados, los desaparecidos, los narcogobiernos, todos los que robaron, los que se manifiestan y los que se olvidaron, las persecuciones, los golpes de estado, el país en quiebra, los exiliados, el peso devaluado, el tráfico de droga, los carteles, las invasiones, los emigrantes sin papeles, 5 presidentes en 11 días, disparo a quemarropa por parte de la policía, más de 100 años de tortura, la nova trova cantando en plena dictadura, somos la sangre que sopla la presión atmosférica, Gambino mi hermano, esto sí es América.
Aquí estamos, siempre estamos, no nos fuimos, no nos vamos. Aquí estamos pa' que te recuerdes. Si quieres mi machete te muerde. Aquí estamos, siempre estamos, no nos fuimos, no nos vamos. Aquí estamos pa' que te recuerdes. Si quieres mi machete te muerde. 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 Te muerde, te muerde.
Ical, hijo, abre los ojos. Tu cuerpo se queda con nosotros, pero tu espíritu debe seguir. Busca la luz. Aléjate de las sombras. Deja que nuestro dolor sea tu fuerza. Desde aquí iluminamos tu camino. Lucha como nosotros ante esta pena tan grande. Yo soy tú. Tú eres yo. La muerte que hoy nos separa, mañana volverá a unirnos. Eres libre, hijo.